I think I know what this is. You see, Stan, as you get older, things that you used to like start looking and sounding like shit. And things that seemed shitty as a child don't seem as shitty. With you, somehow the wires have gotten crossed and everything looks and sounds like shit to you. It's a condition called being a cynical asshole.
Oh no.
Yes. And there's no known cure, I'm afraid. Everything just seems shitty and everyone starts to seem shitty and everything they say...
It stinks. It stinks. It stinks.
Yes, Mr. Sherman, everything stinks.
All we are is dust in the wind, dude. Dust. Wind. Dude.
Don't you understand, Steven? Somebody has to kill the babysitter.
Mockery. Oh, Master! I do not trust you! I cannot trust you or anyone ever again!
Kids with your loud music and your Dan Fogelberg, your Zima, hula hoops, and Pac-Man video games, don't you see? People today have attention spans that can only be measured in nanoseconds.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Okay, they're talking about fictional characters. Fictional characters. Am I getting through to you?
Aim for the cat, dude! Aim for the cat! I'm trying, Evil Ted! I'm trying!
Come.
You hate to do it, but at the same time, it's hilarious.
I've kind of lost control of Star Wars, so it's going off in a different path than what I intended. But the first 6 are very much mine and my philosophy.
Hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Saturday Night Sith, number 58. We are climbing up there, buddy. I am your host, Fractured Filter, as always here. And, of course, I've got my faithful compatriot in all this madness that is Star Wars and Disney I should say Disney Star Wars, considering that's mostly what we end up going over. Jay Hitman, how are you tonight, sir?
So pumped. I just did a massive S-bend before the show, so I'm feeling pretty good.
Do I want to know what that is?
You haven't heard of the S-bend?
No, what's the S-bend?
Oh, it's what R5 did in this last episode.
I would have figured that was actually he just basically did nothing other than get completely raffle stomped by some goofy Star Trek tier looking monsters. But hey,
I was going to ask you about the. Well, I mean, we're obviously going to talk about the episode, but just it's like very Gene Roddenberry-esque.
Monsters, yeah.
Like, I'm at a loss. I really am at a loss.
I think that's a lot of people at this point in time, considering what's going on with these TV shows and stuff like that. It's there's been some notice of people out there finally kind of going, wait, how does this make sense? Why are they just zipping around from point A to point B? All these little things. So some of it's starting to finally crack through the veneer just a little bit.
People are actually starting to ask the question.
Some, yeah. I mean, I'll take what I can get a little bit here or there, but I mean, I'd like more because then that means more people taking their eyes off of this bullshit. But hey, then what will we have to talk about,
right?
But regardless, but then also this might bring more people to the conversation too, and that's always a good thing. because certainly definitely need more to kick Disney Star Wars in their teeth when it comes to all their stupid crap. So, hey, like I said, I'll take it where I can.
So I did something different. And then I'm
What's
trying to. Well, I was not ill prepared, but I found like when I try to prepare for the show, I usually do it like at the beginning of the week, and then everything happens throughout the week, and then sometimes I forget about stuff. But so it's just these 2 episodes. I don't know. Like I would much rather go through Bad Batch because I just feel like it was. I think there's a lot more to go over in Mando.
Wait, you don't want to go over Bad Batch, or
No,
you do?
No. I do. I just say go over Bad Batch first.
Yeah, that seems to be our par for course. So yeah, I'm more than fine. I'm more than happy to go over Bad Batch first. We did. So if that's where you want to start, absolutely.
I watched that, but that's what I was gonna say. So I changed it. I watched Mandalorian because this week was just. Tim often says like, "Oh, it's just been a crazy week at work." It was just a crazy week at work, and didn't have a lot of time to watch it throughout the
week.
So,
yeah,
I watched Mandalorian last night, and then I watched Bad Batch. I can't type today. Watched Bad Batch this morning, and I almost rather have watched done it in reverse because this episode of Bad Batch was, again, I think still, I don't know, a little bit of a nothing burger, but then I don't know. I mean, finally we got, the guy that we've been questioning, about for like the last 11 episodes come back in, but
yeah. Yeah, we finally got the return. But I had to say it's kind of funny too, because like I watched the Mandalorian episode. I swear to God, I know we're not getting into it just yet, but I just have to kind of just say it's like these are not. I mean, naturally they're not, right? Because these are Dave Filoni's Mandalorians, and they are not the true Mandalorians that were that we know from Expanded Universe, true lore. And man, it was funny too, because like while I watched the episode, I had sent out a tweet. Hang on, let me grab it. It's really quick because I had fun with it. I don't know if you saw this, but I was like, I swear, Disney, Star Wars, Mandalorian are the biggest bunch of pussies. Real Mandos turned old battles into songs of glory, triumph, and excitement from it. Didn't bitch and cry about being beat, but reveled in the great fight they put up and had. God, I miss real Mandalorians. And of course, I got Canderous right there and saying, and what's a continent or two turned to glass? And it took a little while. I threw this out there just to see what was going to happen, and it took a day or so for finally some of the Disney shills to kind of come along and finally start not fighting back a little bit. So I had some fun with that for sure.
This brings up a good point. I was talking to a guy at work last night, and he was like, did you hear about the KOTOR remake? And I was like, oh, well, I've heard talks about it. I was like, and I asked the guy, I was like, well, are you excited? You're not excited? He's like, well, yeah, I think it'd be cool to play. And in the back of my mind, I was like, I was like,
where are you going with this?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, well, one, where are you going with this? And two, I'd said, as long as they don't mess up the story between Bastila and Revan.
Right.
And then he had said that he had brought up 2 points. One, he was like, no, I don't think they're going to mess up the relationship. Yeah, but he's like, but for diversity purposes, they're supposedly, and again, not my words. I don't know if this is verified. I've not seen it, but apparently they're going to turn Candace into a female. And I about jumped off.
Did he have a single fact to back that up?
No, but this guy is not of.
Last we were paying attention to some of the news out there. They canceled the project.
Well, and this is what I was like, and when I was talking to him, I was like, did I miss something? Did we miss something? Did they read?
Yeah, because that's never been mentioned. That would have. I know Rhino would have talked about that, and I'm sure Laura or Tim would have gone
right. So I don't know.
That, so.
I just wanted to bring that up because I haven't heard anything, but like this guy isn't. I don't think he.
This is the first I'm hearing about it.
Yeah, I mean. It's undetermined if he's a Disney shill. Like he's not like other shills that are employed. But yeah.
But if that was his words, though, saying that it was for diversity purposes to turn.
Yeah, and
that's how he phrased it. And not quite the Disney shill.
Well, here's the thing, and I wouldn't know. Well, I don't know if he's
or you just kind of paraphrasing a bit
there. Well, paraphrase. Well, no, I mean he said it, but then I wonder, did something come out because of Women's Day? Did they just announce?
Oh, I didn't hear anything.
Hey, FYI, Candace, your beloved Candace, we're going to turn to a female for Women's Day. You know,
like I said, last I knew.
I don't even know where to verify this. I mean, I'm not going to go to IGN because they're garbage.
No. I mean, again, like I said, last I knew, they had otherwise canceled that project.
Well, that's what I thought
for the Coda remake, the Knights of the Old Republic remake. Last I had known, they were like, no, it's right now. It was on an indefinite shutdown. So I'm gonna look that up. Let's see. I got to know. That would be real. I mean, I shouldn't be acting too shocked about that, but there's still a part of me that's kind of like, It would shock me that they would actually do that to that character, considering how, he is I'm pretty sure among Revan and everything too, he's a fan favorite. At least nothing that's popping up other than a bunch of opinion articles going, these are the things Coder has to change.
Yeah.
Fixing glaring romance issues and crap like that. And of course, that's fucking Screen Rant right up the top. They can go piss off. But no, I'm not seeing anything really set on that. And yeah, so far it's still called the Coder remake is,
this is pissing
delayed or just DOA at the moment.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
We gotta figure out so we know within EU, Mandalore was always a planet.
There was the planet Mandalore. There was the figurehead Mandalore,
yes.
But not like a de facto leader, but just a figurehead to maybe call the other Mandalorians. I've been learning this from Alora, thanks to her calf chat, because she did one on Mandalorians, and I'll say, I know what a few things, but there's certainly some blind spots, and that I'm I have in my my under thing right now, beneath my name, EU Padawan.
Your pronoun.
EU and Padawan.
Got to be politically correct
I'm always willing to, I admit I don't know everything about the expanded universe. I'm still trying to learn a lot about the expanded universe. So I know there's stuff to still pick up, still learn, and I'm happy to do it. But yeah, I mean, that was kind of the thing that was brought up. And I thought that, that's always kind of an interesting little side thing. But that's also kind of funny considering how in Disney's Filoni's Mandalorians, they're the Mandalore is the de facto leader, more of a leadership than just kind of more of a figurehead.
Yeah,
but it certainly it'll help lead them into battle and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but
I'm pulling up my notes here. Okay.
Where was it?
Yeah, I don't know how to go about finding it, if that's a thing or not. I don't trust Screen Rant. I don't trust ID. I mean, I even deleted IGN off my phone because I used to have it on there years ago when I was a Gears of War fan, and never. I think that's back when they were actually, I think, somewhat good.
Like OG has posted this: true Mandalorians never gave up. They had a fighting spirit, yet Bo-Katan of the Disney lore gave up. She's not a true Mandalorian. And posted this image of Mandalore the Destroyer, quote, saying, "Here's why you can't exterminate us, Aritai. We're not huddled in one place. We span the galaxy. We need no lords or leaders, so you can't destroy our command. We can live without technology, so we can fight with our bare hands. We have no species or bloodline, so we can rebuild our ranks with others who want to join us. We're more than just a people or an army. We're a culture. We're an idea. And you can't kill ideas, but we can't. But we certainly can kill you."
Yeah.
And that's just it. It's like that's the Mandalorians. And they. Yeah. I mean, I know it's I'll touch on it when we get to it for the Mandalorian episode, but yeah, I just had to. I wanted to share this as just kind of that extra. Yeah, this is the Mandalorians we've been cheated from. That we don't get to actually see visualized on screen. They were neutered. They were reduced to a bunch of goofy pacifists, and then they created the Death Watch in a veiled attempt to still kind of have the warrior-ish culture of the Mandalorians. And then the goofy dork saber.
I have so many issues with Mando, but I equally have my issues with Bad Batch. Let's see here. I'm gonna wait. Like, I'm getting irritated, so I'm gonna wait until Mando to try to figure this out, because I'm trying to. There's a couple stuff I was trying to figure out before we hit Mando, but we can just, I guess,
let's get into Bad Batch. Okay, yeah, episode 12, The Outpost. This was again an episode that felt like it was two things. It was filler, but it was also still kind of pushing the needle along a little bit. Certainly getting things set up, gearing towards the finale, I think. Because I think Crosshair is going to be MIA. This is a light guess, but I'm just guessing. After
you've been watching Star Wars Theory.
What? No.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were just giving your theory. Sorry.
Well, I am giving a thought, a theory, I guess. Yes. That after this, okay, now that we finally got Crosshair in the picture for, again, a short moment, it's going to be called, okay, now he vanishes again. There's going to be the focus of Omega. There's gonna be kidnapping attempts on her. They're gonna get her, and then it's gonna be called, okay, It's gonna be like the finale of season 1. They're gonna be having to go back instead of going to Camino. They're gonna be going to this planet where they're doing the cloning to, take back Omega. They're gonna come across Crosshair, and they're gonna get him out, and they're gonna be rejoined since they got rid of Echo. Crosshair, I think, will come back into the fold. Then they will be basically the original Bad Batch, because Echo was a joiner on much later for them.
Because he was he's in the Clone Wars.
Yeah, he was originally just a rig, one of the regular troopers.
The shinies, as they like to call them.
So he's gonna be basically kind of taking that spot back in. This is just a thought, but that's what I've got the feeling is it's going to be going on for what they're leading to.
You think we
can
get slapped
for the finale?
You think if we just started like a side YouTube channel, like just saying Star Wars thoughts, we get copyrighted from? I mean, not really, because it's not. There's no way it's not copyrighted. He has their Star Wars theory where he gives his theories, but what if we did like Star Wars thoughts, like our thoughts? Because it's not a theory; it's just a thought.
A response,
response, yes. I'm thinking about doing because it's just crazy how you can build a whole. And like I said, good on him for creating that wealth and that brand and all that good stuff. But who would have thought that you could create a channel just given your just a theory?
Yeah,
and he's got a lot of theories. He's got Harry Potter theory. He's got game theory.
He's basically it's kind of like Geeks and Gamers. They've branched off with a bunch of they have Geeks and Gamers tabletop. They have the Sports Wars, all that stuff. Same thing. He's done. Theory has got all the theory.
He's over here making
cornered the market on the theory.
Bro, I'm just over here trying to get Tim and Alora on the show, and he's over there just making movies and selling lightsabers. So good on him. Hey, everybody's got to start out small, I guess.
Absolutely. And you got to remember how long some people have been in this game for.
A long time.
Yup.
But we're getting there. So, so I think it starts out as I actually did take some notes because trying to remember everything and the whole episode off the top of my mind when it's boring is difficult. So I had to put some of this stuff to paper.
Well, and this is again Crosshair seems to just be kind of getting thrown around onto random missions, even with Rampart gone. He seems to be getting paired up with some now random Imperial officer, and I didn't even remember his name. Do you remember what his name was? It's
Nolan.
Who
the lieutenant, the new lieutenant?
Yeah, lieutenant.
Yeah.
Nolan. And I understand there's gonna be the few incompetents and stuff like that, but it's every officer seems to be criminally incompetent, evil, just over the top to cartoonish levels, and that isn't the perspective you got from even the original trilogy when it came to the Imperial officers. They're all very proper, very professional. They are competent, unless you just happen to mess up in Vader's eyes, and then it was called, well, you get the Force choke at Doom. But they were otherwise, very competent, and the only time the chauvinism sort of thing that they kind of showed was in The Empire Strikes Back. You had the one Imperial officer that kind of sneered to one of the other Imperials, these bounty hunters, the bounty hunter filth. We don't need their kind. Yes, sir. That was just kind of it. And then, you may have had the one guy that was in A New Hope who kind of just gives this look of disgust at Chewie. Is what are you doing with this thing? Right. But again, it was just more called, they were usually by the book. They had their rules and regs, and they followed them but at the same time, they were still competent individuals that got their jobs done. This guy just goes full retard because he is needlessly, in my book, and I don't know where this is like suddenly coming from, considering these Imperial officers, who I'm guessing were officers originally during the Clone Wars, or they were originally, civilians that joined up. But again, that would mean, okay, so how much time has freaking passed between, the end of the war and now? We still haven't really gotten that sort of information, other than some random time mentions here and there. But they know how useful and how effective the clone soldiers have been.
Right.
They basically, besides, the idea of Anakin or Vader, who helped, decidedly finish the war, they were the one source that was keeping the core worlds especially safe before Grievous and Dooku managed to invade and capture Palpatine. But otherwise, they were the fighting force. So I'm not really understanding where this dislike, distrust, disdain comes from with these Imperial officers towards the clone troopers, towards Crosshair. I'm sorry, I don't get it. Because again, they're the ones that basically, they should have a better perspective of them.
Yeah.
And their usefulness and what they've brought to the war, what they, help basically bail them out, save the Republic, to help it become this empire. It just comes off as, cartoony and unnecessary.
It's almost like they take the way that, like, we call it the Brits here, right? Our friends over the pond. It's a very generalized statement, but it's like, when you think of like aristocracy, like the different levels of like society, and like Peter Cushing, for instance, like his betrayal as Tarkin was a very, just my opinion, he's very, like cultured, sophisticated, high,
yes,
like noble.
Thank you. I've heard sophisticated, right, is kind of another term.
Sophisticated, noble. I carry myself at a higher level, or a higher, not, I'm not gonna say standard, but like a higher level. And you could see how he would talk. You think like, is he talking down to people? Not really, but he was like, that's how
he only did. But that was more towards Leia, and she
like,
was a filthy rebel scum, and
it's like how they talk to, like, how he talked to Leia. I'm struggling how I want to say this. So like how he, talked down to like rebel scum and the rebels and Leia and all this, that it's almost like they took how he talked to him and they developed, I'm struggling how I want to say it, but it's like he talked down to Leia, so then they created this personification of the Empire, how they're just these people that are evil, and I don't know how I'm truly trying to describe. I'm not making any sense, but it's like the best way.
No, I think I see what you're trying to say.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, we hate.
They took
we're better than
everybody, and they over amplified them to cartoonish levels. Yeah,
yes, we're better than everybody. We're better than the clones. We never needed the clones because we.
Yeah, and I'm not seeing where that's coming from.
No, 100%, and I don't know where Filoni got it. And again, I don't know what other evidence people need to realize that this dude is a phony, and he doesn't have any respect for George Lucas, and he didn't learn anything from George Lucas, because
sadly that was probably George Lucas's giant mistake, was hiring Filoni.
Probably thought he was like a son to him. I don't know. The dude's been with him forever, but I don't know what other evidence you need to kind of wake you up and get you to understand that this dude is a phony. He is a sham. He knows nothing of Star Wars. He worked and coerced his way. This is what I honestly think. I think he has no love of George. he got close to George. He coerced, George. He played the Palpatine. He got close, and then he had a master plan. And
I mean, I'd hate to give him that kind of title, but I mean, he effectively did.
Yeah, but it's like, he knew that probably, I'm assuming that Filoni probably saw the day coming that George was going to sell. So you're going to make your deal with the devil, make your bed and sleep in it. So he's like, well, George isn't going to be around forever. Disney can come in and do this. I need to probably maintain a job. So I'm going to just act like I'm George's friend and act like I'm learning from him and get close to him. And then the day that Disney buys him out, I'll
stay in, but I'll make I'll be able to write. I'll be able to write my fan fiction and everything.
I'm going to operate under the ruse that, like, oh yeah, George inspired me. I learned everything I could from George. Blah blah blah, all this and that, and then secure your payday. That's what I honestly think. I could be wrong, but I just like anybody. If I had worked for George, and I was loyal to George, and George sold to Disney, I could understand, if George had explained why he sold to Disney, and he did, right?
Yeah.
He wanted to do other stuff. He was burning money, and he had employees to think about and all this and that. So, like, I understand his motives for selling. But if I had been with George, I don't care what anybody says. Anybody can say this is a subjective comment. I would have left with George because I would have known. Like, I would just.
Yeah, you'd see the writing on the wall.
I would see the writing on the wall. Yeah. And this is years of Iger running Disney. This is, just, I don't know. Again, the counter to that would be, well, you can't see into the future. Like, no, you're right, I can't. But I would have left with George because most people that are loyal to people will leave with the people that they're loyal to. 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
So. But the fact that he stayed on and it's just stupid. Like, they say, well, no, like, Filoni's right. Like, he's right on par with what George wanted because George was a Western guy. George loves, and we talk about George in the past, and it's like he's dead. Like, that's not the case. It's like, well, George loves Westerns, so Filoni is just trying to honor George's wants for his love of Western films. And it's like, yes and no. Like, yeah, he loves Westerns, but you see the difference between what he portrayed and what he created in the original trilogy to this dog water, like,
right.
Spaghetti Westerns are better than spaghetti Westerns are better than any Western thing that Filoni's trying to do.
Oh, give me those any day.
I'll go watch Hang 'Em High 8 hours a day, 7 days a week, if it means I don't have to watch Cad Bane and Boba Fett, showdown at, the OK Corral on whatever they are, Tatooine again.
Tatooine, Mos Espa, if I remember right. Yeah.
So I know we're going on a little bit of a tirade, but
I kind of started it. I kind of started it.
But that's the thing. To your point, like, there's this whole personification that the Empire hates clones, and again, this is what they're so good at. They're so just fantastically great at making you try to connect the dots. Instead of saying why they don't like clones, we are sat here being fed this spoon-fed this BS and trying to figure out where does this hate for the clones come from? Because because Palpatine himself was the one that
ordered them, got them created and everything.
Used them, probably played a part. I need to go back and reread the book, but probably somehow played a part in. Did he play a part in Sifo-Dyas going to?
Yes, I believe he recruited Sifo-Dyas for doing parts of this.
Right, as a senator. I don't think he was chancellor he wasn't chancellor at the time, but so from our understanding from the EU, Palpatine wanted to move away from the clones simply because he wanted more. He wanted a bigger army. He wanted more power and more influence, and that is the only reason that I know within EU. And again, I will say it. I've said it before. I will check with OG. I'll check with OG. I mean, Tim's knowledgeable too, but like that's the only reason that I know within canon and EU as to why he moved away from the clones. It wasn't that he didn't like the clones. It wasn't that he hated the clones. It was the simple fact that he wanted more power and a more intimidating army. Because, like you pointed out, those clones only have such an extended period of life, or such a they have a because of the age, the de-aging, right, or the age acceleration. They were only good for
some of them will only live so much longer than the others,
right? So it makes sense to move away from clones because of the age acceleration, and probably, well, at that point in time, I'm sure they were paying the Kaminoans, but once Palpatine got into became emperor, he probably was like, well, you're gonna work for me for free, or I'm gonna incentivize you to work for me. One of the two. It's either you work for me and I won't burn you with my force lightning, or somehow because the cloning was probably very, very expensive, as they referenced. Well, I don't know if it was in the which was it Salvatore? Who wrote Attack of the Clones? Was it Salvatore?
The book edition.
Yeah, book. I think it was Salvatore. I don't know if they talked about the cost of like cloning and that stuff.
I'm checking now. Let's see. For Attack of the Clones, episode 2, R.A. Salvatore.
Oh, okay.
And I those ones I'd have to go through again too to know further what they did for I don't know about pricing and stuff like that. So
I had to go back to,
but I mean I know for the most part from the Plagueis book that what went on for Plagueis getting the Kaminoans to what they needed, what they could work with and stuff like that, and how Jedi were very difficult to attempt to clone, so it was called will humans work? Yes, they're very easy.
It's just so irritating. It's just so stupid because, like, again, like you bring up a really great point. Like, where does this come from? Because every single episode since they've talked about dismantling the clone army, everybody hates the clones. Like, you sat here, forget like everything they like. It just doesn't make sense because, again, like we're sat here trying to figure out like where does this animosity come from?
Yeah,
thank
you, animosity. That's another word.
You didn't have any animosity when they were freaking taking out the separatists, droid army. So
it just comes off as so forced. It comes off as forced,
But it would make more sense if, like, I don't know, maybe the guy himself, Palpatine, showed animosity towards the clones, but he never did.
No, not that we.
They're like, well, no, yes, Palpatine didn't like the clones because even when he's, before he, right when he ordered 66, he said, "Commander Cody," and that was him just talking down to Cody and want him to just do what he said he wanted him to do.
Well, I didn't even take it as him talking down.
But I'm like, that's how he talks, you idiot. Like, Palpatine was the happy-go-lucky version of Sidious, idiot. Like, it's just, and let me throw this at you. Do you think if, I don't know, you threw force lightning at me and I deflected it with my lightsaber onto you and you got burned to a crisp, would you not have would you have a bad day? Would you be a little upset and just be grumpy the rest of Now, the argument to that is like, well, that's what a true Sith looks like. Yes and no. Like, the yellow eyes, yes. It's explained in the books. Right.
Well,
and the pale skin, yes.
Well, I was gonna say even like with the Darth Bane book and stuff like that, and Revan himself talks about you have to actually embrace the dark side transformation, otherwise there's no point to it. You have to really, commit to it in order to really obtain that dark side power.
Yes. So, anyways, all right. Well,
yeah. So again, it's just funny because like it is, Crosshair's kind of getting pushed around to different lieutenants and officers and stuff like that.
The only clone that's not being phased out. Interesting enough.
At this time, yes, but they had the clones that were basically being quote unquote forced into going on forced retirement. Use their words. That's what some of them were saying because. They were certainly still wanting to keep fighting. It's their life. It's what they know, But then, of course, this like I made the note. This officer seems to see the clones as "quote unquote" used equipment. Weird mentality to have, but whatever's. Then it's again. So some of my notes are just kind of what we just talked about, because it's like, oh yay, the new incompetent and evil Imperial officer shtick, lovely. So what they also then, because they the whole thing is them going to this planet to reacquire armor. Basically, they find out that it is like equipment, armor, and stuff like that. That certainly the clones that were stationed there could have been using to keep themselves defended and stuff like that, and everything. But they say 36 rotations ago for when they were placed there, or for how long they've been stationed there. I'm not sure what that's meant to mean, because it is, each planet's going to have a quote unquote different style of rotation to where the days could feel longer and stuff like that.
Maybe they're basing it off maybe they're basing it off of Coruscant rotation. I don't know, standard Coruscant rotation.
I don't know. So it's, again, I don't know the exact time frame for which they are going off of.
Well, nobody does. Why are you surprised?
I'm not. I'm just saying. It was just a point that I was making.
You are. I'm not saying you are, but I'm like, we came and figure out how many. They're like, well, yeah, Grogu was with Luke for 2 years, and then he was with Mando for another 2 years, and it's like, well, what?
Yeah, exactly.
There's no time frame, and they've yet to.
There's no frame of reference for any of these, time jumps or time skips, whatever the heck it is. There's no frame of reference at all.
And again,
can't stand it. It frustrates the shit out of me, because I'm trying to understand exactly where it's at with all this, and we get nothing.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they're freaking skipping all over the goddamn galaxy.
Yeah. So I just put phasing out the clones, and then being directed to the Imperial Information Bureau. They like their 3-letter.
Yeah, they do. Well, I mean, I guess we do too, right? CIA, FBI.
Well, that's true.
ATF.
Yeah. And then I said Crosshair meets Lieutenant Nolan, and off to Barden 4.
Oh, well, at least you got the name of the planet. I didn't even get the name of the planet.
Yeah, Barden 4.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so I get the trooper, I believe, Mayday, who's the last of 3 other clones, says that the trooper, he says they've been there for a year.
Is that 36 rotations?
I guess that's 36 rotations is a year.
Interesting. That doesn't make so. How long is that doesn't know that how long is one rotation? 16
exactly.
minutes?
See, that's my point. That was my point with the rotations. But then he says they've been there for a year. And what is it that we always say, folks? Disney Star Wars is consistent at being inconsistent. So we don't even know what this is meant to mean. They don't even explain it.
I'm trying to do the math. I don't know.
That's just it. I don't know. For us, what we know, there's 12 months in a year.
It's like them saying
365 days.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
So irritating. Well, okay. So we know 36 rotations, which is a year. So do that math.
I guess so. But they certainly seem to just bounce around to different to these different, descriptors of whatever it is.
Oh, it's frustrating. So then I put they arrive on Barden 4, expected 36 rotations ago. Yeah, that's laughable. And then this exchange between the lieutenant and command isn't now. I'm not the smartest guy out there, but isn't a commander higher than a lieutenant or no? Am I
What's
wrong?
that?
Isn't a commander higher than a lieutenant?
In Star Wars universe, I don't know. I think the lieutenant is meant to be higher in the chain of command. Because the trooper would just be the commander of his troops, not above that.
Really?
I could be wrong. Hang on. Let's see. What does the Wikipedia say? Oh, looks like I mean, I don't know if the listing is correct.
What does it say?
Yeah, it looks like I mean, here, let me from LucasArts flight simulator game Star Wars TIE Fighter provides a much simpler version of Starfighter ranks as listed below: Grand Admiral, Admiral, Vice Admiral, General, Colonel, Major, Commander, Captain, Lieutenant, Flight Officer, and Cadet. Now, that could be just for the flight end of the Imperials, but I mean, in this instance, the commander is above a lieutenant.
That's what I thought, but I wasn't for sure.
So you were spot. You had it.
And then this guy, so it's like that's another interesting point. Like a lieutenant is talking to a commander with disrespect and disdain, but I guess is this because they're now being disbanded? I just find like if you were
I don't know if it's because they're being
were a
disbanded
lieutenant-
or because it's the clones that are being decommissioned, so they're basically like losing any initial rank.
I just in a normal thing. If you talk, if you're a lieutenant, I was your commander, you talk to me like that, I'd send you the firing squad.
Yeah, because here's okay. Hang on, go away. So again, in the Navy rank, you'll see the commander is right about above a lieutenant commander and lieutenant. So, but there's for the Army, there's no real commander, so to speak. That shows for the rankings. So, I mean, that's where it gets, I guess, a little muddied. Because I'm guessing that these guys would be considered part of the Army than the Navy. So this could be where, yes, maybe a lieutenant is above a commander in terms of the Army. But I mean, see, look at this is the thing. This is only showing up for ranking insignia of Galactic Empire old version, but it's only the thing that came up was for Legends. That's what counts.
Right.
So they aren't staying consistent to this.
Absolutely not. Oh, it's just tired. It's just all sad and boring.
It's also tiresome.
I mean, yeah, really is. But okay, I was just curious. So
no, I no. That's again good question, man. You're bringing up the good ones, man.
He was just so disrespectful. Like, okay.
Like I said, it just kind of comes out of nowhere to me, out of left field. It's like, why?
Yeah.
But so then, it's like it is. Then he get Crosshair and Mayday, the commander of this group. They're kind of just then getting the walk around of the base. They're just kind of getting chit chatty.
Let's see what I put.
going around.
Yeah.
But then the base is attacked by basically what seems like they're basically like some snow sand people.
I said, well, we're probably not to that point yet, but is it? Yeah, we're not there yet, but I said station to protect the cargo. Attack. The attack ensues.
Yeah. Well, and what's funny is like I guess the Crosshair ended up having some trouble with his blast helmet visor too.
Well, did he? Yeah, and he's like, yeah, because he's like, I don't know, infrared or whatever. But like, he goes down to the. I say Crosshair's on the hunt down a cave. Nolan commands the retrieval of the cargo, and then basically tells Mayday and Crosshair that they got to go. And then you'd reference that. I put Sand Snakes from Rise of Palpatine. Is what I had kind of put.
Like I said, like because prior to them finding the snow sand people, like they're just like I said.
I thought they looked like Hondo for a minute, but I think
mainly the goggled look and stuff like that.
That's what I was.
But this was certainly like the episode for Crosshair, kind of. I think a little bit of that whole look of the way he looked at the Empire initially is slowly going away.
He had a lot of conviction, didn't he?
Yeah, like at first he was very, very stand by the Empire, especially at the end of season 1. Yeah, at the end of season 1, he was very committed, very dedicated to what the Empire was bringing, especially considering that it was still keeping him in the fight. I think he, like it wasn't being shown just yet, the decommissioning of the clones, as heavy as it is now. He's, I believe, starting to, so that the whole point is that he's starting to now see, my heads could be just as well on the chopping block as the rest of the other clones, the regs, the shinies, and stuff like that. I could not be too far around the corner.
Yeah.
So he's kind of taking a little more stock in what's going on. And there certainly with the little conversation he had with Mayday, the clone commander, you're kind of getting some of that, especially after, he kind of makes the comment about, I wouldn't take your body even if you died, sort of thing.
Right.
And
how the tables have turned.
And the guy's just like, well, let's hope I don't die on your watch or something like that.
Right.
When I think, wasn't it like they found like I don't remember. There's some reason why they brought that whole commentary
landmine. It was a landmine. He stepped on a landmine.
Yeah, they had stepped on a landmine, and he is like, yeah, if I'm dead, I'm dead. Just leave me, basically.
Right.
But they have that little chat. The Mayday, he gets them off the trap, and they move on. And yeah, that's where then they do event. Like I said, I called them the snow sand people, except they use tech. That's right. the differentiation there. But yeah, they discover the gear, but then they go through that whole nonsense, trying to get that gear back, only for it to all get destroyed, blown up, or whatever, thanks to the freaking goofy snow sand people. And they get buried in an avalanche. Yeah, they get buried in an avalanche because of an explosion. But Crosshair climbs out, finds Mayday, drags him all the way back to base, and in doing so,
isn't that ironic though? Like deadweight carries the deadweight, or he's mentioning like, I wouldn't carry your deadweight, and then
it's that's like the whole point of this little episode, right? Is kind of Crosshair gaining maybe just a little bit of more camaraderie and humanity and stuff, and they've been kind of working up to this anyways. This has been worked up even when he did the mission with Cody.
Yeah.
It's not lost on me what they're doing. I get it.
You do.
It's not very good. But yeah, they were just kind of furthering kind of the not just showing more of Crosshair's personality and stuff like that, but yeah, he's seeing things for what they are. Certainly with this Empire.
I guess.
And yeah, so they discover that the the stuff that they've been protecting is all the new gear for this like kind of like phase 1 of the new stormtroopers. And of course Mayday is just kind of like, oh wait, no, did they discover that? No, that was just with Crosshair then. Because I thought, because Mayday just basically dies as soon as they get back to base.
Yeah.
There's like some point where I could have sworn it was Mayday because he made the comment of like, wait a minute, so this was gear that we could have been using this whole time.
Yeah, he says that.
That might have been before they attacked the
I think it was
sand people.
Yeah, it was before yeah, that's what it was.
So yeah, so after dragging him back, poor Mayday bites the dust. After discovering the gear of new soldiers, but these clones were not allowed to use it apparently, but to be reserved for the new regs. Crosshair risking his butt to get Mayday back, and as they get close to the base, only see that reinforcements have arrived. The ones in the shiny new armor at that. That's right. Yeah. They get back only to see that, oh, it looks like the lieutenant called for reinforcements. Finally, and they didn't even he was just being again cartoonishly evil and a dickhead, sending out Crosshair and Mayday to try and attempt to retrieve all that armor or the stolen gear, whatever.
And who ordered that, I wonder?
And then because then Crosshair's like, hurry, get me med, because he gets back with Mayday and he's like trying to plead with the guy, hurry. We need a medic here immediately, but the lieutenant's of course being evil douchebag, sneers and jeers and all that, and just kind of basically ignores him and not giving a damn because he's like, you're used goods. We're done with you. You just need to go.
Yeah.
So then Crosshair, he's had enough. He decides to say screw it and pops the LT, ending his ass. And amazingly, but then that's like it's funny because then there's no fight or anything like that because he just immediately passes out, which I was just like, oh, okay, so this is how they avoid killing him, right?
For a minute there, I was like, did they literally just kill this guy?
Nah, Dave Filoni doesn't have the stones to actually kill off any characters. Look at Ahsoka, for Christ's sake. So then Crosshair wakes up and it's the weird clone lady or whatever the hell she is, unless she's a twin or something. But he's at that weird clone facility. Then that's where I kind of it was that mountain base. I'm pretty sure it's that mountain base with the new
sci-fi off.
Possibly. I think they're setting up for that sort of stuff. But he's at that mountain base for sure. That had to have been it. And they were doing tests on him. I was like, and I basically was like, so this is possibly setting up for a big get together with the batch. And again, that's where I did make the extra note of like, but talking about the irrational hate towards the clones and stuff like that. So yeah, so that was just kind of my notes. And that was just kind of the episode. Like I said, it was setting something up, but at the same time, still kind of comes across a little filler-ish.
Well, we'll
at the
see.
same
The only
time,
way
it
we'll
was
know that
giving Crosshair some more character development to show that he's not seeing the Empire through these rose tinted glasses anymore. He's paying attention. He is seeing what's going on, and he's clearly not liking it.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, those are.
I mean,
much
where
like-
else do we go with this episode? It's just.
No, I mean that's pretty much. Yeah. That's
It
pretty
just
much
kind of
all
comes down to, okay, so the question becomes, does the next episode will we be getting actual storyline development, or will we be going immediately back into back into filler territory?
Well, this is what's interesting, right? Because it's like, again, 12 episodes in, there's 4 left. This is why I told you last episode. It's like there's 4 episodes left, and we're just now seeing Crosshair. So you literally have 3 episodes to bring the story together before it's done. Like, what are you gonna do? Where are you gonna go? You've spent so much time
farting around.
Yeah, with filler episodes, man. Like, I don't know. I'm very. You know what I wondered? I wondered if this female doctor is working for that one doctor that was trying to go after Omega.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Is that the one that you?
She's part of that whole group.
So is this doctor that's going after Omega? Is that their version of Cybioth?
Not necessarily.
I thought Cybioth was a Jedi.
No, this is just basically new cloners,
but
the new Kaminoans, basically. But we do not have a new Cybioth yet.
No, but I was saying,
like I said, I think that's going to be Ezra.
Don't.
They can't fit these characters in otherwise. They have to use theirs. So I'm leaning towards it's gonna be Ezra.
But I'm saying, wasn't Cybioth an heir to the Empire? Wasn't he the old man that Thrawn wanted to? Like, he made a deal with, basically Thrawn made a deal with him. Was that not?
Because he realized
he was a Jedi.
That's why he had the missile Almiri and stuff like that to help keep him at bay from trying to use his force powers on him.
If you say Ezra, I'm a flipping loser.
I mean, whenever the heck what she calls it, the Ahsoka show is gonna drop, we'll end up finding out sooner or later.
Did you catch the spacing last night?
Yeah, I was playing catch up today actually.
I didn't watch a lot. I caught a little bit of it, but something interesting. Raging was on, but they
he didn't join till late, and it was funny as hell because as soon as he got on, he popped off. It was hilarious.
Well, it's funny because he kept calling Tim Greg, and he's like, I'm Tim. He's like, he's like, that's what I meant. And then he called him Greg again.
I know. That was pretty funny.
But
used to talking to Tuscan Bob.
Yeah, but so what's funny on that is even Greg or
hey, you're starting it.
So OG they were talking about Ahsoka being Gandalf.
Yeah, I was at that part. Yeah, because they were going over some of those artworks or whatever.
And I was like,
and okay. She basically is at this point. She's Ahsoka the White. I mean, she basically is god tier freaking character, and it's obnoxious because she's like, there's too many questions. It's called, okay, so you were out there. Where were you during the height of the rebellion? When Luke joined the rebellion, where were you?
Yeah.
So you're telling me
she's trying to learn the War Between Worlds
at all?
She was trying to learn how to use World Between Worlds. Or maybe she got wrapped up in War Between. I don't know. World Between Worlds. I don't know.
I don't know either because it's
I'd
called.
Explain it. What if she went through another door that like took her to a different a different reality or a different time? You know what I mean?
I don't know, because I mean, even at the end of Rebels, it showed her back with
Vader.
the Mando girl Sabine.
Oh yeah.
And that was, and I think it
Well,
was supposed to
in
be
that art picture that OG had showed, apparently Bo-Katan was under her, and she had a staff like Gandalf.
Wait, who did? Ahsoka did?
Ahsoka did, yeah.
Yeah, because that was basically how she appeared at the end of Rebels season 1, or
Oh, is that
the
it?
final season. Yeah, I can get. Come on, you stupid thing. I don't want a video. I just want the image. Here. So there she is on the left there.
Yeah.
She's got the staff. She's in the white robes and everything.
Literally Gandalf.
I mean, basically. That's effectively what they're doing. But yeah, I'm wondering if she's going to pop up in this season of Mandalorian.
I don't know.
She crops up everywhere for
why is she not in the Bad Batch?
Yeah, that's a good question. Why hasn't she popped up in the
after
Bad
Anakin?
Batch?
Where's she after Order 66? She's not dead, right?
Nope. She got away. She's out there.
So where's she at? Again, Filoni. See, this is, again, they don't do anything to answer. Like, where is she? She's going to be your main character, your main, this is what you're going after. Like, where's the explanation? Where is she? When is she with Ezra? Did she meet Ezra? Is that even in the time? Is that even in the same time frame?
There's nothing but questions.
Yeah, and again, people that are eating
and
this up,
none
like
of it can
oatmeal.
it still can't make any sense, because it's just still called. But why? Why wasn't she
But it's like
here
everybody
or
is
there?
eating this up. Like, oh, this is, oh my God, Ahsoka. And like, oh, Ray, we love you, Ray. Oh, Ahsoka, we love you, Ahsoka. It's like you are sat there saying this stuff, thinking this is the greatest character ever, but you're not even asking the question as to where she's at.
Yeah.
Because if she's such an influential character and this greatest character, where's her development, and two, where's she at during this? If you're tying all these together, where is she?
That's the big question.
Well,
where the hell has she been?
Well, you're gonna find out in the Ahsoka series, and we can't just tell you now, because then you're not gonna want to watch the Ahsoka series. It's like, well, no, like, it's not even it. Like, I'm not gonna watch it regardless, but like, if you're gonna sit there and say that this, if she's this influential character, I would like to know, like, where is she? Don't know.
No, but I mean, they don't even know.
And what is the relationship between her and Bo-Katan and Sabine? Why is Bo-Katan at the bottom of that picture? Is that Sabine? And what was the relationship?
I don't know.
And who is Sabine? Is it Satine? You mean Satine?
Sabine. She was in Rebels. She was the one that does all like the stupid graffiti art and shit like that.
See, I was stupid. I thought that she was. I thought they were talking about Satine from Mandalore.
No.
Did Satine give Bo-Katan the Darksaber, or was that Sabine? Because Sabine wasn't.
No. The Darksaber came from the one leader of the Death Watch, which Bo-Katan was a part of.
But someone said, or I was reading that Satine, ruler of Mandalore, whatever she was in Clone Wars, gave Bo-Katan the
Sabine
Darksaber.
Wren did give Bo-Katan the Darksaber because she felt she couldn't wield it and wasn't going to be part of leading the Mandalorian, so she gave it to Bo-Katan.
But did Bo-Katan kill her? Because why is Bo-Katan able to wield it?
No, that was before they implemented that rule about you have to defeat the person in order to
Well, who
properly
created this,
wield
this rule? I thought that was a rule from a bygone era. I thought that had always been battled by combat. You see my point? There's all
No,
these,
that's just it. That's just it.
So, like, when you're sat, like, who created this rule then? And it before the
They
Dark Saber
pulled it out of their ass at the.
Like, it's just so, it's so incredibly frustrating because it's like you make a whole show based off the fact that, like, Bo-Katan wants this Darksaber, but she
apparently she can only win it in combat.
But then we find out that the reason why she can't rule Mandalore is because she never won.
Well, and get this, right? So she does not believe in superstitions or curses and stuff like that, right?
Supposedly.
Yet she believes in a cursed sword that it has to be won supposedly in victory, only brought up now that you have to win it in victory. And the reason why she failed to lead the Mandalorians and the Empire glassed their planet and everything was because Sabine gave her that the dork saber. Even though that would have nothing to do with it at all, just her being a crappy leader. But we're going to blame the sword because it was,
I guarantee you,
supposedly handed to her instead of one in combat that they only made up later.
You know what they're gonna turn this into?
Sorry, go ahead. What do you think?
Well, no, I feel like they're gonna turn this whole Darksaber, so they're gonna forego. I don't know. I feel like very Harry Potter-esque thing coming on with
this
like
is basically the
wand chooses the wizard.
Yeah, well, the wand chooses the wizard, right? But the Deathly Hollows and the Elder Wand is basically they've basically turned it into the Elder Wand. That it was won through combat and stuff like that, or through the killing the previous owner.
But
which then they did. It got
getting at.
Huh?
Mando didn't kill Moff Gideon.
No, but he defeated him in combat.
Combat by death, because that's how that. I'm like, if Harry Potter.
Apparently, that's okay, so long as it's in combat, but it doesn't kill him. But at the same time,
he didn't even yield to him.
No, but the funny thing is that Moff Gideon also used the sword without issue. So apparently, that sword thinks he is a proper leader for that sword.
Since we're going down this path, so did Bo-Katan in this episode, and I was going to wait until we got to that part.
We'll get to that part.
Mando,
well, fuck yeah, that was. But okay, so now what was it? I saw Tuscan Bob at hang on, let me see if I can find the tweet again. Because I retweeted, I was like, oh, so there we go. There we have it. Hang on, let's see, where is it? It was funny as hell. Oh, come on. I knew I should have had this saved. Let's see. Yeah. So, like you said, Bo-Katan now has legitimate claim to the Dorksaber. The mech creature defeated Mando. Bo-Katan defeated the mech creature. She is the legitimate owner of the Dorksaber. By this show's own rules, she can't just hand it back to Mando. Oops.
I mean, is his logic wrong?
No, I think he's spot on.
Like, Should we dive into Mando? Because like I'm getting pissed. Now I'm just getting mad because there's so many things I watch this episode and I'm just like, how is this a thing?
No, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, let's go in.
I mean, no, you're 100% spot on with his I mean, his logic is
by their logic.
Yes. But he's calling
and even by their logic, also what I said, what I've been talking about with these weirdos, is also correct. That Mando himself, Dim Jughead, does not see himself currently as a Mandalorian. By their rules, he has to go to Mandalore to take a bath. Then he can become Mandalorian again in his eyes.
Well,
this is so goddamn stupid.
But maybe Jay Himman and Fracture. That's why he can't wield the Darksaber because he's not he's
See,
like
that,
Thor,
no,
he's not worthy.
That
We're
did
not worthy.
That did come to mind. Like, I don't know if my brother mentioned it or like I'd been processing it. I'm like, oh, yeah. My brother was like, yeah, once he takes his bath and stuff like that, he's gonna find his balance and everything and be able to wield the Darksaber properly.
That doesn't make sense because he couldn't wield it before. Was it season 2 when he was Mando? Well, he had taken off his helmet.
He had just taken it and he didn't really wield it for that long, and then it was called he took off his helmet, dishonored himself, yada yada. He'd already done that in the previous episode or episode prior to that one. He'd already taken off his helmet anyways.
Moff Gideon wasn't a Mandalorian.
This saber is really finicky.
This is literally the Elder Wand of Star Wars.
Basically.
It literally chooses who it wants to. It's like, I have a crush on Katie Sackhoff, so I'm going to let her wield me.
Yeah.
Or, you know what? Moff Gideon has more money, so I'm going to let him wield me. It makes no sense.
None whatsoever.
All right. Let's get to it because I'm just getting mad.
Yeah. This episode, good God.
Hey, your favorite character's back though.
I know. Right at the get, we have the stupid Jawa humper at the start of the damn episode, and we're going back to freaking Tatooine. Like, really?
Dude, to celebrate Boonta Eve. What are you talking about?
And then on top of it, the Jawa humper apparently seems to be running a scam operation. Which I was like, of course she is.
Do you think she's like the humanoid version of Sid? But less like just slimy?
I guess. Yeah, that's pretty apt. That's pretty apt.
And like actual just really bad Marvel humor.
Oh God. Yeah.
Like she just got down to a science because now she's got the Jawas, involved.
And she speaks Jawa, apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess she was humping him. She would learn the language.
But she's got the Jawa still in parts, and then she's selling people parts.
Yep. Like I said, she's got a scam operation going.
She's selling the people's parts that she stole from them. It's like, why did I think of this? Where have I been? I needed this. I needed this in business class, entrepreneur class.
God.
All right, I'm pulling up my notes here. All right, I gotta let's see here. All right. So I said, what a force jump you learn, man. Like, and again, just the worst graphics ever. Like, it literally looks like this was on a rope.
Well, and apparently being with Luke for 2 years certainly didn't teach. He certainly wasn't taught to use.
You know what's funny?
Go ahead.
Well, she referenced Lerman. Weren't Lermans on that episode of Clone Wars where Ahsoka and Anakin go to, like, Anakin gets like the monkey things that roll to get to places?
I don't know.
They have the little rice patty hats.
I'm trying. I don't remember exactly. It's been a
It
while.
was like, yeah, it was like, and the like dad Lerman was like, no, we don't want violence. We're pacifists, and he can't stay here. And then the son's like, well, he's gonna die. He's like, well, then he can stay here as long as he rests, but no lightsabers. And that's the Lerman. Look up Lerman, because if I'm wrong, then I'm gonna be really embarrassed. Not that it matters, but again. And then how did he jump? It didn't look like he jumped. Like, it looked like he just, like, somebody threw him.
Use the Force, man.
Okay, but even when Yoda used the Force, you could tell that his appendages moved, and he actually.
It's clearly like it's just the freaking Muppet moving.
Yes, Kermit the Frog had better animatronics. For something that's worth 300,000, or was it 300,000? This thing, or 3 million? I don't know how much money this thing was, how much this cost, but it's animatronic.
Yeah, you're right. It's Lerman.
Anyways, I lost. Okay, this is where I wanted to dive in, but yeah. So I said Force jump. What a Lerman. I said R5 entering from the bottom. Where? Through the engine.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna pull something up here, and I know Raging. I think he.
Yeah, he made this point. I think I know what you're going into.
Yeah, that's why I said the old S bend. So tell me if you see this.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay. So obviously this is the droid pod. What is this right here?
I can't see what you're pointing at.
You see right here?
Oh yeah. Beneath the bubble.
The engine.
Yeah.
And I love when Raging pointed this out, because so he's like, you're telling me that this droid had to go down.
Yeah.
Shoot to the back and then behind the engine.
And just looking at it, there's no space for it to move towards the tail either.
No. And so I have
especially where it shattered out.
I have another photo. I think I have another one here that I wanted to bring up, because I was like, this is probably the point. This thing specifically was one that just really irritated me. Well, I mean, the picture I showed, I mean, was pretty spot on. I mean, this is another one. If I can pull up here, get it a little bit better. Again, droid pod, right here.
Yeah, right there.
Engine, right there.
Yep.
How is it going to literally
be shot out in the back like that? Yeah.
Boom. It's not, to your point, it's not thick enough.
It just doesn't make sense.
It's like, we're talking about fictional characters, man. Fictional characters. There's one more. I think and this one is a diorama, but the point still remains. This is the last one that I'll share, I promise. But
you're good,
again, for anybody out there that questions it,
yeah. Well, and it's still called so how does Grogu get from there to the cockpit?
Oh, but he goes down here. He crawls. There's a tunnel
underneath somewhere. I guess so. Yeah.
There's a tunnel that he burrowed, because he's like a little. He burrowed, and then he gets in here. Here's another question. Where in this ship does his little baby crib hide? Is his baby crib here? Is this a part of his baby crib?
Maybe there's some compartment for him to sleep.
It's an N1 starfighter. There is no compartment. This isn't the Razor Crest.
It was so stupid that they got rid of the Razor Crest like that. It really was. They shouldn't have done that.
Like, here's another thing. Like, I think Raging brought up that I also wanted to that I was wondering how long does it take for, well, we'll just go through it and we'll go here. And so like he interested in anyway. So he's talking about like our people. Like, what do you mean our people? Are you saying our people as in like this Grogu is now like a Mandalorian? Like,
he's a foundling. Like, he's a foundling, right?
He wasn't baptized. Where's his helmet? Because he got chainmail, he's now a Mandalorian. Like, so anyway, it's just nitpicking. But I know that he's our people, and then it's like they're traveling, through Clavaria or Concordia. I don't know, like Mandalore, wherever they're going to. But here's the thing that Raging brought up that I think is actually a really, really good point. How long does it take to get from Tatooine to freaking Mandalore? Because I think Raging said, I tried to look it up, I couldn't find it. The only thing I could find up is each square grid, I think it said square grid or whatever on the map is 16 hours worth of travel in hyperspace.
Right.
So somehow Raging found out that it was 22 days from Tatooine to
from Coruscant to Tatooine. He said.
Oh, okay.
At least on the spacing.
Yeah, I'm sorry. From Coruscant to Tatooine, is that what he said?
Yeah. Coruscant to Tatooine.
So it's 22 days. So, and we know that Mandalore is in the Outer Rim, and Tatooine also is considered Outer Rim. But I was laughing because Raging was like, "Where's all this crap going?" He's like, I would have less of an issue if he's on the Razor Crest where he could get up, walk around, do something.
Where he'd have more leg room, obviously, and be able to
like
do stuff like prep or just like clean gear.
Are there petrol stations in space? Like, how is he getting from this point to this point within a minute, and not like stopping to like? I mean, he's a human. Bodily functions are a thing. Like, is there just like they do it on the space shuttle? They just crap in a bag and he ejects it out. Like, how are you gonna wipe? You're gonna have swamp butt for days, and you're in Beskar, dude, and it's probably not that cool in under that armor. Can you imagine the swamp butt he has?
Well, hey, maybe it's maybe they just haven't shown us, but they've got gas stations in space. Like in Spaceballs. it looks something like this. I mean, look at there's the Millennium Falcon right there. So it's obviously probably canon, right? So Dim Jughead stopped off at the at Gus's Galaxy Grill to fuel up, to use the bathroom, stretch his legs, and all that. It's the intergalactic pit stop. Totally it. That's totally it. I'm sorry. I couldn't resist.
It was very, very irritating.
No, it's another big continuity issue of what the hell is going on? How is he actually zipping from one place to the next? Because that's all that's ended up happening is that he's kept doing that. He just keeps bouncing from place to place to place to place. And it's just like, dude, that's not how this works.
Yeah. So and so it was the S bend. Like, I was like, this is the dumbest thing ever. This, like, physically does not make any sense. And when you look under that, how does he go up? How does he and no ship did the droid ever go up? In my knowledge of ships within Star Wars, it was always from the
it was from the bottom straight up.
Where?
In A New Hope, R2 goes up through the bottom in the X-Wing. But that's a design intention. That's like, and it was straight up versus a
doing
weird
an S
back.
bend. That's what
yeah, doing an S
Let me
bend.
try my
Yeah.
statement. Not the S bend.
Yeah, not the S bend.
Like, can you imagine if the ship was fired up and the droid went from the bottom, like he would get roasted by the engine.
Right. No, absolutely.
Anyways,
so yeah. So you know,
into Concordia, or I'm sorry, not Concordia. They're going through all. And again, I need to go, like, I guess, research Mandalore, but like, is this planet like the atmosphere known to just be like lightning and everything, or was it the bombing of it? Because
this was, I think that was supposed to be due to the bombing and everything. Yeah. But you know I just had to. Again, it just makes no sense why the Jawa Humper was shouting, "May the Force be with you." I just would you?
I jumped the gun on this. So it was like quite the atmospheric storm, and then I was like, "How did R5 come out behind the engine if the droid's port is in front of it?" I said,
"Yeah," and I gotta admit, I didn't quite catch on to that until I saw it pointed out by Raging.
No, but I saw that though. Well, here's and I didn't. I mean, I
kudos
saw
to
it,
you
so
for catching it too, because I didn't.
Because I saw it, I was like, "How is this? Like, where is he coming down from?" Because the engine's right there, and then there's the stupid part of this is like, and they showed how stupid they are in this. They're like, well, kind of, sort of. So he sends the droid out for air samples. Then he pressurizes his own freaking helmet.
Yeah, to go out and go check for.
I guess at that point in time, you can say, like, you can, I guess, ask the question like, well, he could just pressurize it, but that doesn't mean he has a filtration system. But wasn't there episodes in the Clone Wars where their helmets filtered out toxins? So your whole need for a droid, if that premise is true, that your helmet can filter toxins, it goes out the door. You don't need a droid. And bringing back R5 for nostalgia, is for nothing.
Exactly.
So that is so stupid. Like, send out the droid for air samples, but then you go out yourself. And then OG pointed out, which was a brilliant catch, where is Grogu's life support in this starfighter? And where the hell?
So yeah.
And where's his pod?
Rhino got into that too. And the thing is that I believe because he Dim Jughead told Grogu to go back into his little spot, and I believe that's where it got closed off for him to then get out. So while the canopy was open, Grogu was potentially safe where he would have crawled to his little bubble spot.
But where is it?
It's the way it's been shown is that it's somewhere underneath the seat, because in the first episode of this new season, he goes down the pod, goes down from the little bubble spot, and then disappears, and then crawls up from between Dim Jughead's legs, so it pops out somewhere around there. And so, like it was, he told Grogu to get back into his spot so then he could climb out after pressurizing his helmet, and he wouldn't be, quote unquote, affected by the potential toxins in the air.
It makes no sense.
It's
the fact that we're trying to justify this just is.
I hate even trying to kind of defend it.
You're telling me that his pod is underneath the seat. That's where he lives.
Now what I just realized is there's the big problem. That spot was not protected anymore. So Rhino was still correct. He was still not protected because the spot where the droid was is wide open. As far as we know, it's still wide open. So unless when he crawls into that spot, there's two latches that close him off for a moment that he has direct control into doing. he's still exposed to the elements that he thought that Dim Jughead thought was poisonous and could kill them. So yeah, he still put Grogu at risk there.
Where is the pod?
That's the big question. Unless they've put out some technical specs on the N1 Starfighter, I don't know.
Yeah, it's okay.
No, I hear you 100%.
Yeah, so it's like he's like seal yourself in your pod, and I'm like, what pod? It was removed, and the droid pod was installed, and then I was like, where did Grogu go? He just literally like on a marionette string, just gone, disappears,
just vanishes. Hey, you know.
And so anyway, and I didn't take note, like, you know, when we first started out with the show, like I take notes every like 10-15 seconds, but then I dropped down. I want to bring up this other point that we were talking about a couple minutes ago. It's like, why can't he wield this thing?
The dork saber?
Why is he having such a hard time?
At this point, it'd be more advantageous for him to get a vibro sword and use
or
that
a lightsaber.
Or a lightsaber,
from
yeah.
Tar Vizsla, descendant or whatever. Use a freaking lightsaber. Like if you're the guy who got this from, you beat Moff Gideon, and if Moff Gideon yielded, you should be by their own logic be able to wield this lightsaber. For whatever reason, you're having such a hard time wielding it, and you can't make the argument like, well, he's not a Mandalorian. Not you. I'm just saying you can't make the argument that like, well, he's not a Mandalorian, so he can't. Well, Moff Gideon wasn't a Mandalorian, and Moff Gideon didn't have a problem doing it. And then, but wait, and the next couple scenes we'll see, Bo-Katan was using it like she like it like the
like it weighed nothing. Yeah,
and I mentioned this earlier. It's like,
and keep going, keep ranting. I'll be right back.
This is what it comes down to. It's like, you know, the whole thing about the sabers being sentient beings and choosing their, you know, who they want to wield them everything. It's just so stupid. And it's like, well, the Darksaber could possibly just want Bo-Katan to be her wielder, so that's why she was able to have no issues wielding it. I don't get it. And then I have to pull up and see, because he was struggling.
It just doesn't make a lick of sense with that whole Darksaber thing.
No,
like I said, that sword is the most finicky thing in the galaxy.
I don't know if you heard me, but it's like, you know, remember episodes? I don't know how many episodes we're ago, but we were talking about how like the crystals were sentient and they could choose who they wanted to, like they could choose.
Oh, the lightsaber, the Kyber crystal.
They could choose like their master or whatever, or who they wanted to wield them and everything. And it's like, I was saying that like Bo-Katan was using this thing like the saber wanted her to wield her.
Yeah.
Or wanted her to wield it. And
well, and see, this was the thing too, was that they tried to cover this a bit with Star Wars Rebels, because Kanan was trying to train Sabine in using it, because supposedly she had to kind of find a balance of some kind in order to truly wield the Darksaber, because it was slightly heavy for her, but not like this. Not like with Dim Jughead. So that's kind of where I think that is too.
I think they're just gonna come down to like this Darksaber.
But it's
the true heir to Mandalore, or I don't know how they're gonna play, but it's almost like the whoever's best fit to rule Mandalore gets to use it. But that doesn't make sense, because I have a theory, if you will, on what I think is gonna happen between the two of them. But yeah, go ahead with your notes. I mean, I'm just
like I said, with the whole Darksaber thing's useless. Have a vibro sword, you dumb shit.
But he did,
and
he did.
He had a vibro knife, yeah. But he fights those creatures, and the sword, even though it's a lightsaber, did next to nothing to those creatures. Why? What? Yeah. And those creatures, yeah, they looked like Star Trek tier freaking monsters. They did not look like something for Star Wars. It looked like Star Trek. So apparently the stupid R5 unit didn't do any kind of planetary scans, at least the way it seemed at first, but it did. And he's like, oh, so this planet isn't cursed. I was like, no shit, dumbass. Because he's like, oh, Bo-Katan was wrong. It's not cursed. Yeah, she's wrong about a lot of stuff. She's a piss poor leader, and she's having nothing but a freaking pity party. Ugh. These are not real Mandalorians. So I had to laugh because I'm like, oh, hey, he remembers he does have a jetpack. But I was like, but for how long? How long does he remember he has this thing? And at a point, as him and Grogu are wandering through looking for the waters to bathe in, he gets suddenly trapped in a big old mechanized thing, which I had two minds here. One was like, if you've ever played System Shock in your first System Shock game, died, got the game over, it reminded me of the robotic creature that'll come over and pick up your head and start transforming your corpse into another one of the many. But then I've God, and it's what I referenced in the thumbnail for this episode. And he says, I hope this doesn't go old Gio. And it's from a basically a manga. It's a horror manga basically, where these robotic things will it first was taking possession of sea life and using it to crawl up on land and putting out this noxious gas. But like when it first caught Din and then had him underneath, I was like, oh God, we're going to get into some weird territory here now, aren't we? Thankfully that wasn't the case. That shit got weird. But no, he got caught. Grogu manages to escape to then go to Bo-Katan, who is still just, hanging out, chilling, illin, like a villain, hanging out in her little throne room, doing nothing at all, not trying to rebuild, not trying anything, just, being shit. But before she's about ready to try to send off the ship because she thinks it's Dim Jughead and everything, takes Grogu and goes back. And she's kind of telling some lame ass stories that don't mean dick. Because again, they aren't real. They aren't the real Mandalorians. No, Mandalorians were never friends with Jedi, other than Canderous wanting to work for Revan.
That was
that was Revan as a Sith. But even then, that was a special circumstance. Telling a bunch of boring ass stories, and I just had to laugh because she picked up the dork saber and chopped that mechanized guy up like nothing. And man,
put Obi-Wan to shame when he was fighting the what is the praying mantis looking thing in Attack of the Clones?
Oh yeah. Well, and it just puts freaking Dim Jughead to shame too, considering he's supposed to be.
Oh,
he's supposed to be a skilled bounty hunter, and he didn't even see this coming.
You know why
he now gets saved?
Because of International Women's Day. That's why. I forgot that.
Now it makes sense.
Yeah.
Now it all makes sense.
They released this episode on the eve of.
I didn't even consider that.
You know.
But yeah, I just had to laugh because in my notes I was like, "Wait, what? It's not at all heavy for her now? What?" But the thing is, we don't even get an explanation to what the hell that thing is. The robot thing that was apparently starting to siphon out Dim Jughead's blood. We got no explanation at all.
This was whole.
Unless that's going to come in the next episode.
Maybe they're Maybe they're trying to figure out how many midichlorians he has.
Maybe. But we get no explanation to this creature.
I was like, are they taking like a Saw twist here? Is this like some like horror?
I guess. But there was otherwise no explanation to this thing. Yeah. It was all kind of pointless. Other than to set up to make Bo-Katan come to the planet and help Dim Jughead. And get her out of her mopey bullshit. Because there's something I started kind of notice. It's like this is all still kind of this whole biblical kind of crap, isn't it? Not to say crap, but it's certainly what they're certainly still touching on a bit, because it's almost like now she's rediscovering, kind of rediscovering her faith almost with through Jughead, who's very part of the faithful, and reclaiming his side of this.
So I was like, I'm gonna go through because you bring up something I want to touch about. So I was like,
yeah, go ahead.
I was like, why can't he will this thing? I was like, shock, the air is breathable, like you were saying. I was like, meanwhile, off to the hot tub, I was like, please explain to me where the thrusters are on this baby crib. Do you see any?
Oh, his little floaty chair thing?
Yes.
He was using the Force.
Oh, that's yeah. I forgot about that. Thank you for bringing that up. It's like, who's controlling this floating crib? Grogu. Oh, look, a Mando helmet. I was like, what the dingle is that? This crab-looking thing that you're saying that somehow captures him, and then it's like, oh, Grogu to the rescue. And then was I the only one here? And maybe I'm just wrong, but my notes were, General Kenobi, you are this thing.
I got Grievous vibes from it too.
Yeah, so I was like, off to Bo-Katan. Grogu literally made it to Bo.
Yeah,
literally, like.
Well, they set it up. They set it up right because Jughead was teaching
this
Grogu how to read the star map and stuff.
This thing came and talk.
Yeah,
but he can't even walk.
But somehow communicates to the droid that they need to go there.
Eat Babu Frick's people or hug him or whatever, but he's going to make it. He's going to be able to navigate from Mandalore back to, now granted, it's the moon. It's one of the moons that surround Mandalore, but still, like, this thing can't talk, it can't walk, it has to use a baby crib to get around,
get everywhere,
and you're gonna make it. So, and then I was like, and it's like, oh, look at her ship, neat, same ship from Rebels, I'm assuming. Whatever the Marauder, not the Marauder. What does she call her ship?
Oh, I don't know.
I was like, well, and then they get there. Like, she does this whole, like, spiel about, like, blah blah blah, some whatever, and then I was like, what's up with everybody leaving their ship unlocked? Is it just like
they need to have the space club? Damn it, they gotta lock it up.
And then I was like, again with the thrusters, Grogu leads Bo to Mando. Going over the whole Jedi Mandalorian relationship. What a nifty shield that was, wasn't
and
it?
what's stupid too is just she's like, and it was clearly for the trailer. She's like, she says that whole line about, oh, you didn't think your dad was the only Mandalorian, right? Even though right in front of him when they first met up, it says how they're basically Mandalorians.
Right.
So he would have already known that. He was right there when you announced yourself.
Yeah. And I was like, how is she not struggling with the Darksaber? And I was like, Bo's going to Mando to the waters. Bo giving Mando a brief history. Mando enters the hot spring. Underwater jetpack. That's neat. Oh, look, the Mythosaur. So those are the end of my notes. So if you want to finish yours, but I do. There are a couple things I want to dive into that.
Yeah.
Like I just. I don't know if you finish yours, but.
Well, and I didn't really quite catch on at first. I was like, wait, what the hell is that thing? And I said, more of a pity party for. Oh wait, no, that was for the robot. Sorry. More of a pity party for Bo-Katan after she saved him. Certainly, the Mando Get Saved episode while Bo-Katan having a slight spiritual reawakening or enlightenment to stop being such a whiner. Who knows? But was it the beast that pulled Mando? So this was the thing. Like, yeah, she's giving the whole diatribe.
He walks in and he goes straight the F down.
He walks in, and then suddenly, he gets either yanked down or something. But in an instant, practically, he's down at the very bottom. We have no real indication that it was the Mando beast thing, whatever. That was the one that did it.
It took her longer to get to him than it did from him getting to the bottom.
Getting down there, yeah. It wasn't even like she was chasing him down to the.
She had to use a
bottom.
freaking jetpack to get to him quick, like in that time.
Yeah. That made no sense at all. One minute he's there, next minute he's all the way down at the bottom of this severely deep cavern.
Were Mythosaurs extinct?
I thought that was what they were talking about. Yeah, is that they were extinct.
All right.
So where the hell has this one been hiding this whole time? Because the thing is, apparently it's supposed to be like as big as a city.
The fusion bombs protected it. That's why he's so big, because he's radioactive. He's Godzilla. That is, so you remember in
that,
Godzilla
or the bombings awoke it.
Is it Godzilla King of the Monsters where I can't pronounce his name, but he goes and basically they send the new, like, Godzilla returns to like the underwater.
Yeah, after they decided to unceremoniously bring out the oxygen destroyer, used it on Godzilla. Godzilla returns to his little underwater city place to try and re-heal, rejuvenate, whatever.
Yes.
And then they set off a nuke in his face
to like waken him up or something,
to power him back up and get him back going again.
Side thing really quick, was Godzilla ever supposed to be like the anti-hero, like, because he's like we would be his pets? Or does he just not care? He doesn't.
Through the movies, it's bounced around. He's been
protecting people.
He's been the villain. He's been the Godzilla's been the villain, been the hero, been the anti-hero.
Okay.
So throughout the eras, like originally, yes, when Godzilla first started out, villain. Then through what they call because they kind of go by like the eras of leaders and stuff like that for Japan. The Showa era was where Godzilla then, through a couple of movies, Godzilla turned good guy. He became basically a superhero. After the Showa era, and they put Godzilla to rest for a while, then they bring him back. He's a villain again, but mostly stays that way. He's kind of still the antagonist, but kind of it kind of blurs the anti-hero territory. So and that's the Heisei era. I'm probably pronouncing it incorrectly, but whatever. But then so Godzilla's bounced around between different things.
So I have a couple of things that I want to go over. So I hate using theory, but like one, I think to your point, I think Bo-Katan, who has written off this whole superstition and the Mandalorian religion and everything, is now kind of refinding herself through Din and through this
Yeah.
journey and everything, right? So that's one thing. Two, the other thing I think is happening is she is going along. She's got to keep Mando alive so she can therefore get the Darksaber from him. That was one of my thoughts. But then I see that the fact that she can already use the Darksaber, so why the hell does she need Mando in the first place other than fight him and I guess rightfully get it? That's the second thing.
Right.
The third thing is I think Homegirl has feelings for Mando and they're gonna rule together. Like she wanted to
God, you're going down the shipper territory. Don't do that. No.
Listen.
I already saw some of it cropping up on Twitter too.
Listen, no, and I'm telling you right now, like I had it
or YouTube. I forget which.
I haven't been on YouTube. I haven't been on Twitter. I just see how she's looking at him. I'm like, I guarantee you that she wanted to be the ruler of Mandalore. She wanted to rule the people, but she's seeing that through Din, and this is where they're going to go with it. She's going to be the bride of, I don't know. It's one of the three. Honestly, it could be one of the three, but I'd like, what if they did that? Would you be surprised if they did that? It makes sense. She wanted to rule, but through all this, she's like, well, man, like he's devoted and like,
right.
You know, I don't know. What are your thoughts? You don't think she has feelings for the guy? You don't think they go down that path?
I don't know. Like that didn't crop up into my mind. What came up in
Bro,
my
look
mind
at how she's staring at. Look at how quick how she's staring at him. And how quick she was apt to go after him to save him. Like you think that she 30 like this is the epitome of a woman. 30 seconds ago she wanted to kill the guy. And now 32 seconds later,
I'm not doubting the possibility. I'm just saying that did not spring forward in my mind when everything was going down. Like I said, to me, it seemed like more like she was kind of having like I said, a spiritual awakening again to because like she's been in her stupid depressed little funk. She's watching this guy that's so devoted taking the oath again so he can basically call himself a Mandalorian again, which that isn't even required. He can just be a freaking Mandalorian. But she's watching this. I thought I took it more as like I said, a spiritual awakening that, oh my God, I can be this again myself.
Why can't she have
and she's
both?
Seeing it through his eyes.
She wants the devil. She wants the chip and the bean dip. That didn't really make sense because when you eat bean dip, you eat the chip and the bean dip. But she wants her cake and eat it too.
I know what you meant though.
You know, why can't she have? But I'm telling you, like, why would they not? Like, I could be wrong. She's either, like I said, she either wants the spiritual awakening. She has to keep him alive because she has alternative motives.
She wants that Mando D.
Or she has the ulterior motive, or she has feelings for the dude, right? She
like
could
I said,
be.
I
don't. You know, and here's the thing: in light of National Women's Day, it could be all three because all three are what women want at one point in time.
You're not wrong.
3-in-1 deal. Killing three birds with one stone.
I'm not arguing with you. I'm just saying.
Listen, I just saw how she looked at the guy. And I'm like, bro, these are not films of like, I want to keep you. I don't want to kill you.
Well, she clearly didn't want to kill him, considering he walked away after
30 seconds ago. She's like, let's go finish him. And then Grogu walks out. She's like, where is he?
Oh no, she saw the kid, so now her womb's activated.
She's like, where's your dad? What's happened with him? Bro, I'm calling it now. I'm not gonna call it. I would not be surprised because everybody. And why do I say this? Everybody loves a good love story. You had Anakin and Padme. You had Leia and Han. You had the ultimate relationship. Luke and my future wife, Mara Jade.
Oh, good days.
Everybody loves a love story. Was it gonna be Din Djarin and Ahsoka? She's already got feelings for Luke.
Man, she's rocking that.
she already wants Luke. It's like, well, I couldn't have your dad, so I guess hi. Call me Antano.
Oh God.
I'm just saying, dude. And the way that listen, it took her -2 seconds to jump into that water and go after him.
She did react awfully quick. This is
dare I say,
no lie,
act
no
off
lie detected
emotions?
there, sir.
Act off emotions?
Well, as we know, women are very emotional creatures. So,
just saying, man.
Again,
I
you're
don't
not
know.
wrong.
And then the whole mythosaur thing really irritates me because it's like the name in itself is mythosaur, which would lead you to believe that maybe it's a myth. Well, not a myth, but like mythosaur. I don't know. You bring the mythosaur back, and it
sounds like Mandosaur or something like that. Something funny like.
It probably is. They probably just call it a mythosaur in this show, but.
Let's see. Hang on. I'm trying to find the because I remember OG talked about it. Where I should have written down the name. That was my bad. I was like, God dang. It just didn't occur to me to do so.
Yeah.
This is the creature that they use for their symbol and everything. Oh, what am I thinking? I could just check her calf check. She had it. Yeah. Oh, you're sorry. You're right. Mythosaur.
Yeah.
Sorry, my mistake.
So, and then they put this mythosaur underwater, which I don't know if mythosaur was an amphibious creature. But that homeboy was
I don't believe it was.
This mythosaur was straight up sleeping under that water. So is the water radioactive? And that's how it's so stupid. It makes no sense.
I agree.
But
she was. It's kind of their crate dragon.
Yeah, I think Bo-Katan wants his chain code.
She wants something from him. I'll give you that.
I think she got the feelings. She caught feelings, and she ran out of Lysol like Sheldon on Big Bang Theory.
Oh God! Don't mention that fucking show.
Anyways.
Yeah. God. Again, so many. So again, it's like.
And then how they ended is amazing. You mean you haven't had Pog soup? Anybody that's a Mandalorian.
Well, in the episode just ends, just done. Okay.
And why did he take off his helmet? Did he not take off his helmet because he went through the water? Because when he was eating the soup, he just like.
No, that was before they went into the water.
Well, if you've taken off your helmet, why are you not like you're in front of?
It didn't even look like he lifted it enough to have actually been able to drink.
No, but it's so stupid. Like you've already taken off your helmet. Why are you concerned about not taking it off now? She knows what you look like.
No, you're right. You're right. There was no reason for him to be so
you haven't got to the
guarded
water
right
yet.
now.
I said if this had taken place after you went into the water, then maybe sure. But like you didn't even get to the water. Why are you so concerned? And you're selfish. You should have let your child eat first before you did, bastard. Like,
well, it's an alpha move, right? He eats soup first, and then the little guy gets.
And then how she made the soup was very reminiscent of like Rey in The Force Awakens, where she makes her MREs out of powder.
Oh God, I didn't even consider that.
Like she just literally putting something in and she just stirring it.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't see any water. Didn't see anything that she put in it that I could have missed it, but it didn't look like she put anything in the cup. She just stirring stuff. Last time I knew you needed water to make stew.
I don't know where she got it from. I don't want to know where she got it from.
I think that listen, and there's the other reason why I think that I'm going to be right, or maybe I'm going to be right. Is she got herself a brand new hairdo, and women always love to show off their hairdo. That new wig,
new wig, yeah,
is more rebel-esque.
When she, and there's so much wrong with her character, considering she should be much older.
And she didn't know anything.
She's supposed to be in like her 70s.
Huh?
Bo-Katan, she's supposed to be like in her 70s.
Is she?
She's supposed to.
Listen, but she looked like she was in her 30s in this episode.
Oh, I think the actual actress is. Let's see.
Oh, you mean Katie Sackhoff?
Yeah, well, I was talking about Bo-Katan in general. Bo-Katan is supposed to be like in her, because she's supposed to be like the same age as Kenobi.
She looked good for a 70-year-old.
What was I looking for? I was trying to check. I forgot what I was supposed to be checking.
Bo-Katan, is she 70 or no?
Well, she's supposed to be like, she's like the same age as Kenobi during the Clone Wars, and then look at how he aged. Apparently, unless she's got some been moisturizing.
That helmet's doing wonders for her skin. It's like a face
I guess
mask.
so. I guess so.
Do Mandalorians age differently?
They're not a race, though. That's just it. The Mandalorians are not supposed to be a race.
I'm just saying.
No, I apparently her people, they do not age quick. They have they're God. I don't even want to voice it.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, is this group of people supposed to be basically like the Saiyans, where they hit peak, but they stay young looking for a really long time? Because they're battle hard.
Don't disrespect these.
That's what I didn't want to say.
You rat bastard.
You wanted me to say it, so I said it. You asked me.
Good luck.
So,
whatever.
Oh God, yeah.
That's all I got. I've got.
And we've got what? We've got. How many more episodes?
Too many.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 episodes. God damn it. Well, at least this is a shorter than Bad Batch. But it's funny. I was just like, chapter 19 is the next one, and this was the Mines of Mandalore. Oh my God. My brain went to Mines of Moria.
Yeah.
Oh God! None of it made sense, especially with the stupid droid.
Yeah, what was the point of R5?
Well, what was the point of R5 and him still trying to get the brain chip when the thing was smashed up anyways? But what was the point of the droid that was stealing his blood? Why?
I don't know.
And it apparently had been doing it to other Mandalorians, because there was a bunch of... I'm assuming the helmets were meant to represent corpses. So what was it doing?
Would he ask somebody that worked closely with Gene Roddenberry? I don't know.
Hey there, Brandon. Thanks for dropping in. He says Mando chapter 18 was interesting. Were the robot creatures that attacked Din, Kalish, Grievous' species, or the Scrappers from Force Unleashed? Oh. I'll say with a bit of confidence, not Kalish.
Why? I would
just because none of the resemblances to that
was
to that
he
race.
was like, but he was. This
but
was
then it was also
obviously-
just an eyeball, but
right in a robotic form, which is what
Yeah.
Grievous was.
but it looked more like a human eye. The scrappers from Force Unleashed. I'm gonna have to look those up.
It could be. We should do a poll. Was it Kalish or the Scrappers?
Let's see here. Huh. Well, here's like one of the scrap guardians. Hang on. Let me put that away.
I think it could be Kalish. I got very much Grievous vibes off this dude.
Well, I think that is just because of the part droid, part, whatever was.
Could be.
The whole, like, artificials with the whatever was supposed to be inside the thing.
Hence why I said Grievous.
Hang on. Let's see here. Because I don't know. Personally, I didn't get that kind of vibe from it.
Grievous?
I didn't get the Grievous vibes, no. Like, yeah, I could kind of see like his like magma guard droids. But hang on, I'm trying to get a good shot of its like eye or something when it came out of the big old exoskeleton. Yeah, that's more of a human. It's more of a humanoid eye than Grievous's. So here's. He had like these weird tendril things coming off of his back. The eye looks very more human.
Kalish had tendrils, didn't they?
Huh?
Didn't the Kalish have tendrils?
Kalish? No.
No.
Here, hang on.
They were more lizard, weren't they? Reptilian.
Well, the Kalish were yeah. I guess you kind of say they had almost like a they I guess could kind of look reptilian-esque, but they like wore the bone. The mask itself was like kind of a bone mask. Like you get one of these, you get a Kalish and Sutor for a companion on the for your Sith Inquisitor.
Do I? What am I a Sith Inquisitor?
No, you're not. You're a Sith warrior.
Bastard.
But yeah, this is a Kalish, and like it is, they have that more like slitted reptilian eye.
That's true.
So no, not a Kalish. Because right there, you already got your differences, and no real like
Maybe. Well, I mean, in this universe, maybe
no
Kalish
real like
did have a
tendrils
human
off of
eye.
its back or anything like that. So
Maybe the Kalish lost an eye and it took a human eye that they killed. Whoa. You didn't think about that, did you? Right.
I mean, I get why people would think Grievous is because of the way it was, kind of moving around.
But
And
couldn't he taken a human eyeball? It's a reach, but I'm just saying we know their logic.
I mean, by Disney Lucasfilm logic, yeah, he could have. But by the Kalish and everything that I'm seeing for the evidence, no. But again, like I said, like this creature wasn't really explained, and as to why it was, trying to harvest his blood for what, and it never spoke. It never said a line at all.
No,
we got nothing from this. It was just called weird monster. This was basically the monster of the week.
Yeah.
Besides the mythosaur and the three like ape monster things.
What were those?
I have no running clue. I really don't. I have no idea what the hell those were supposed to be.
Not on Star Trek?
I mean, they look like they could have come from Star Trek versus Star Wars, so personally. But I have no idea.
Hmm. So cool. I don't know.
Yeah. God, I
got nothing else for this episode other than it was just, yeah.
No, yeah. Again, the zipping around, the sudden vanishing under the water, that shows no indication of what pulled him down. We can only guess it was the mythosaur because it happened to be right there. Although that thing seemed like it was sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
Or Din was so heavy he got pulled down by the weight of his armor. But even that doesn't make sense.
Well, is Beskar heavy?
I don't know. I mean, he walks around just fine, right? Doesn't seem to hinder him.
I don't know.
Neither do I.
I mean, is he so heavy that gravity's like, nope, come, you gotta come all the way down here?
Apparently.
I don't know.
I mean, the only thing I can say is that it's maybe it. I don't know. Could you? I don't know if I would call this a filler episode either. I mean, at least you could say like they're moving a story along a bit more than Bad Batch has.
Yeah.
Because of the more contained episode count and everything. But I don't know, man. Like, I hope it. I don't know. Like I say, I hope it picks up. I don't know. Like, or I just hope they keep bungling more with their crap, so we can continue to make fun of it and point out all of its errors and problems.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what you'd call it.
What do you mean? What I'd call it?
Just the episode. I don't know, like how you would filler or not filler. Or
I guess not. Just because it was still progressing his story forward and what he's trying to accomplish right now. It got to it. I'll say this: it got to it a lot faster than I thought it was.
Yeah.
Like I thought we were gonna be going like through the whole season leading up to him taking a bath.
You did?
I did. Like I thought this was gonna be like more of a big saga of him working up to getting there, doing the whole bath thing. There'd be stuff in between. Not, second episode, we're here on Mandalorian, I'm here to take a bath. Yeah. I'm here to cleanse my sins away. No, I legit thought they were gonna be like taking a lot more time with it than they did. So I mean, I guess it's kind of good. We will get his baptism out of the way, and hopefully some interesting stuff comes along, or we're just gonna get. Now we'll start getting the filler. We'll get like an episode or so of filler.
I'm surprised that they did it this quick. To your point, like I thought that it would have been definitely a lot longer down. Like, because
it would have been.
How they marketed this whole thing. It's like,
yeah,
going to a brothel, and second episode, you literally make it to said brothel. So, I don't know. very curious to see how bad the next episode is going to be.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even see if there was an after credit scene for next time on Mandalorian.
I didn't. Do they normally do?
I don't know. I don't know.
No.
No, I don't. No, they didn't. I didn't have anything.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, I guess we'll find out. Oh yeah. Well, so it'll continue after Dim Jughead getting saved once again. He got saved twice in one episode.
Yeah. Well, it's Women's Day, dude. What do you think? Why are you upset for?
Oh, my mistake. I keep forgetting. Oh.
Yeah, dude.
Silly me.
Force is female. I don't know. I don't.
Mando episode was basically Din and Grogu finding the Polynesian spa. Huh.
Yeah. She's like, and my family once ruled this. Like, your family ruled underground?
Yeah, it's again having another, like, where we have another princess character.
Why do you think I said that they're going to get together? Everybody's like, oh, you're crazy. Like, bruh.
I'm not saying you're crazy or nothing. I'm just saying.
I'm not saying you are, but I'm just saying,
no,
like, bruh.
Yeah.
She's a princess. Was Mara Jade a princess?
No, she was not.
See, that's why I like her. No, Leia was a princess. Padme was, well.
Yeah, she was Queen of Naboo.
Yeah.
She was the queen.
It's royalty, so it's like.
Yeah, there's a lot of royalty flying around right now.
I would not be surprised. That's why I said I wouldn't be surprised. And here's the thing. Leia got with Han, and Han was a smuggler, right? He wasn't noble or anything.
I actually believe no.
Was he?
Maybe not. Maybe his family was. No. I think I might have gotten him mixed up for a second with Lone Star. Sorry.
Oh, did I miss something?
Sorry.
So there's a history of, like, princesses choosing the underdog, if you will.
Yeah.
And what better underdog than freaking Din Djarin?
Apparently.
So, anyways. Did I miss anything? You got anything else? I don't.
No, I think we pretty much covered the episode. We got all that knocked out of the way because for the most part, it was just kind of faffing about looking for the bathhouse.
That, that they finally found. Second. Must have been.
Well, and she had to be the one to make sure to lead him there because otherwise he wouldn't have found it.
And that, man, his plot armor, man.
Again, more conveniences and stuff like that,
how convenient that she knows exactly where the mines are under the Civic Center. When she said Civic Center, I thought like it was gonna be like some auditorium type thing.
Oh, something a little more grander than just kind of like a literal just cave.
Yeah. With Star Trek monkey creatures.
Bo-Katan and Mando working together could lead to them fighting to the death over the Darksaber in Mando Season 3 finale if Bo wants it for herself.
Or getting married.
She'll be going after a saber, just maybe more of his meat saber. According to Hitman here.
Listen, if I'm wrong, I will eat crow on the show, but I just feel like she's got it for him.
She could already wield the Darksaber anyway, so there's
she doesn't need to go after him. What does she need to go after him for? She can already wield it.
There's there's basically no reason for it. Tuscan Bob pointed out through his tweet. The droid defeated Din, basically took the Darksaber away. Then Bo-Katan defeated the robot, therefore winning the Darksaber. She's got it. Dead to rights.
Right.
So she doesn't need to fight Din. Other than getting nasty in the sack, maybe, but otherwise, no.
There's no. I mean, yeah. Are you more? I mean, are you probably more accurate than I am about like the whole the whole rediscovering thing? Probably, but I don't know. I feel I've seen how she looks at him.
Only time will tell. Only time will
Dude,
tell.
what if season 3 they get married? Or the next episode 3, they get married? Or she's like,
I would certainly be jumping the gun.
That what, bro? They jumped. You don't think they jumped the gun this episode with it finding the bathhouse? They marketed this whole thing off of finding, the bathhouse, and then they found it in episode 2. So what now? Well, the armor's going to be. Well, honestly, here's the thing. Armor's going to be like, well, so that actually wasn't the water that you need to go find. It's actually the Civic Center on Concordia.
Oh no, that would be funny.
That would be funny. It wasn't that one. It was the one.
Here's the thing: who is going to be the villain? I'm guessing
armor.
not.
Watch it be the armor.
Gideon.
No, watch it be the armor when she finds out that she's hooked up with Bo-Katan.
Possibly.
I don't know who. I mean, who would it be? Tar Vizsla. He wants the saber. His ancestor.
He did want the saber. Yeah.
His ancestors weren't Filoni.
No, I mean, I don't know. It just a lot of it's so.
Who do you think it would be?
I don't know.
I think the armor wants another probably civil war between them.
Well, we did see this ship getting attacked by TIE fighters, right? Or was that his? No, that was his starfighter.
That was Luthen. What are you talking about?
No, in one of the Mandalorian trailers, didn't we see him get chased by TIE fighters? It was a TIE Interceptor. Yeah, because I pointed out the TIE Interceptor.
Oh, yeah. It's probably Gideon.
I mean, is he going to be... I mean, because they're going to be leading into the sequel trilogy bullshit.
Dude, what if they bring back Dune?
No, they're not. Well, unless they've recasted her.
Bro, there would be so much backlash if she. Oh man,
I'm honestly surprised they haven't. Like either, like I would have figured they would have killed her or recasted her, and I'm surprised they haven't done either one. But I don't know. I don't know. Was there anything
like
we wanted?
Oh no, I was gonna say like Jar Jar. Like I don't know.
Pretty much, man. Pretty much.
I mean, I don't have anything unless you have anything.
I mean, if you're feeling up to it, I found a few articles really quick, but we can just kind of call it on the reviews.
Yeah,
we've gone through those 2 episodes pretty thoroughly. I think we gone over with a nice fine-tuned comb, as it were.
You got quick articles.
I have a couple of articles, yeah, considering the bullshit that has been going on. Let's see where to start. So this is something I actually haven't, unless I didn't get to catch the casual rage. I still need to catch the replay for that. This I thought was interesting. So the boy Freddie Prinze, he's getting into some heated Twitter debates, I think. Methinks. Apparently, Rogue One writer Gary Whitta blasts actor Freddie Prinze Jr. over Darth Vader's fight scene. This is the first time I was just scrolling through Bounding into Comics, seeing if there was any articles that might be interesting to talk about. There's the ones about Filoni not wanting to basically consider Luke at all. Jon Favreau talking about going into sequel trilogies. All stuff I've already known for a long fucking time. But this is one that I hadn't really heard anybody talk about yet, and this was new to me. So yeah, apparently old Freddie Prinze, unless the spacing they talked about it, but
I didn't catch. I didn't watch the whole thing. No.
But yeah, so let's get into this one. Sorry, I had to wet the old whistle. So, actor Freddie Prinze Jr., who lent his voice to the character Kanan Jarrus, a derivative of Kyle Katarn, on the animated Star Wars Rebels series, got into some hot water when he claimed that pivotal scene in Rogue One was directed by longtime franchise alum Dave Filoni. Yes, the last spacing, they kind of touched on this, but only briefly because they were ripping on Dave Filoni and how he likes to take credit on shit that just ain't there, man. So speculation had swirled for years regarding the insertion of a scene near the end of the film where Darth Vader cuts down a bunch of rebel troops in an effort to secure the plans to the dreaded Death Star. A scene that, in hindsight, makes zero sense. Looks cool, but makes zero sense considering he was using the Force and certainly could have force pulled those plans directly to himself.
Right.
So the scene was meant to act as a direct bridge towards Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope, adding further exposition as to how the rebels actually managed to acquire the plans and why Vader was so invested in reacquiring them. The scene was well received by fans for showcasing just how lethal and powerful Vader was, even against multiple armed opponents. Problem is, too, with that scene, is he sees that exact ship bounce out of there. So he knows it's Leia's ship. There was no reason for her. She had no way of trying to play dumb and go, no. But the signs were all there. They are consistent at being inconsistent and also just not doing a good job. Prinze Jr. sat down on the Lights Camera Barstool podcast, where he referenced Filoni's supposed involvement in directing the scene. Quote, "I don't know if people know this. Maybe I'm not allowed to say this, but I don't care anymore. He directed that scene in Rogue One where, well, basically the whole end of the movie where Vader comes through and you see basically what's going to happen in A New Hope. He directed all of that." Wow.
Interesting.
Given really stroking off Filoni there, making sure you get to come back in some way there, Freddie Prinze. Making sure you're going to keep your voice work there, huh? Yeah. Making sure you get to come back, huh?
I didn't know
that. He's stroked off Filoni before. This ain't the first time either. But it was enough for Rogue One writer Gary Whitta to come out swinging on Twitter, accusing Prinze Jr. of spreading false information while reasserting that director Gareth Edwards was responsible for the scene. Whitta even included a snapshot of previous posts he'd made where he reminisced about Edwards showing him a rough cut of the scene. Now, that was the thing. The whole Rogue One was another developmental hell, and they ended up reshooting a lot of that movie. And it makes you curious what Gareth Edwards' original version ended up looking like.
Right.
And it's interesting that he had this scene still in there to include Vader in such a way.
Right.
But I'm wondering if it was maybe just a little bit different. Anyway, the tweet from Whitta says, "There appears to be some bullshit going around about who directed Rogue One's Vader hallway scene. It was Gareth. ILM's Hal Hickel, who was on set that day, clears up any confusion here." Yeah, I guess he did say he's on set. Gareth Edwards watched Gareth direct it also. See if it gets into it more here. It's not the first time rumors have circulated over who directed what when it came to the filming of Rogue One's most badass scene. Previously, second unit director Simon Crane was mentioned, as well as screenwriter Tony Gilroy, who directed multiple reshoots without receiving a director's credit. Prinze Jr., for his part, has been a thorn in Lucasfilm's side before, notably when he threatened to quit Star Wars Rebels unless all the other cast members received a raise. On his personal podcast, Wrestling with Freddie, the actor stated, "When I did Star Wars Rebels, they weren't paying any of us a dime. When I said I'm going to walk unless you give not only me, but the rest of the cast a raise, and I made sure we all got paid the same, that was the biggest, like, I can't say that's the biggest check any of them ever got on a show, but it was the biggest check that Disney ever paid voice actors per episode." What was that?
They didn't pay them. They were just doing it for free.
I doubt that. They were getting paid, but they, according to his, from his point of view, they were not being paid a lot or enough in his eyes for their
Probably
work.
not what he was making on the Scooby-Doo movies, huh?
Oh, definitely not. Voice actors, you know, that whole kind of career path is kind of notorious for not getting paid the best.
Really?
But not always. And there's been some rumblings here and there for some of the voice actors that especially have a bit more of an ego, believe they should be paid the same as actual actors. I hate to say actual actors, but, you know, live action performance actors. And, you know, voice actors, I mean, some of them are very, very talented and do a lot of work. But the thing is, like, especially for Freddie Prinze, the dude wasn't changing much of his voice. He wasn't doing much of an act, especially for Kanan. It was basically his voice.
Yeah,
and there are some actors out there that have a certain voice that where it's like, okay, yeah, you don't need to do much. Just do that.
Right.
They have the gravitas. They have the presence through their voice and performance. They can do it just fine, no problem. And then there are some actors that transform their voices in such astonishing ways that you're like, holy hell, that's the same person? You're kidding me. And I mean, I think they, absolutely should be paid fairly for their work and stuff like that, because they do put in a lot of long hours as well, just like
like the Simpson people.
Right. But I'm guessing, you know, he's a guy with an ego, thinks he's worth more than he actually probably is. And he was clearly, I mean, by this was just stirring the pot, starting some shit.
Yeah.
You know, like I've heard of, it was for the Metal Gear Solid remake on the GameCube. Supposedly, the story that went around was David Hayter, the voice actor for Solid Snake, had like made sure to not get the original cast back, but also use part of his paycheck to pay them to get them back on.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and Hayter over time has kind of become kind of a twat. He's kind of a guy a little bit. I certainly stopped following him on Twitter. Got a little insufferable, especially with a lot of the kind of wanting to unionize more of like voice actor kind of stuff, kind of get like a voice actors guild sort of thing, kind of like there's the Screen Actors Guild thing for actors and stuff like that. He kind of was getting a little insufferable, and he's kind of got really whiny and kind of a little maybe understandable when he got replaced voicing Big Boss in with Kiefer Sutherland. So, like I said, he kind of got a little insufferable at times. But regardless, he was at least doing something where he was splitting off his paycheck to make sure and bring them in, while Freddie Prinze is more just kind of like grifting for more money.
Yeah.
So look at the two and see the differences there. Anyway, going on to this, airing dirty laundry in public is a faux pas for all but the most extreme and warranted of circumstances. A lesson Freddie Prinze Jr. seems hell-bent on learning the hard way. He's burnt multiple bridges in the past, from walking out of a WWE production and away from lucrative job as head writer for SmackDown, to openly spitting vitriol at actor Kiefer Sutherland and voicing his resentment over his time on 24. Yeah, so he has kind of an ego, doesn't he?
Just a little bit, man.
And that was a funny thing. Like, I had no idea he'd worked for WWE until much later after the fact. And then I heard about that. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Really? This
Yeah, I didn't know
kind of
that.
baffled me that he actually worked for WWE. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I didn't know that he did that.
Yeah. Freddie Prinze Jr. was a rising star in the late 90s, but his career started to fizzle in the new millennium, thanks in part to a disastrous role in the ill-fated film adaptation Wing Commander. Oh, that was horrible. Oh, that was a bad movie.
Was it?
It was, because they were adapting the video game Wing Commander, which had Mark Hamill and oh God, why am I'm blanking on his name? He played Biff Tannen in the Back to the Future movies. Oh, hang on, let me get his name. Sorry. Where is it? Tom Wilson.
No,
yeah. So that he was what? Who did he play in Wing Commander? Jesus, the guy has done a lot of acting. Okay, Wing Commander. Yeah, he was. Oh, that's right, Todd Maniac Marshall. But yeah, I remember, and it was disastrous. It's like, why didn't you get Hamill or Tom Wilson to come back to reprise their roles? Didn't make any sense, and there's like no connection between them either, which was especially just bad. Anyway, based on the classic gaming series, he managed to stay busy throughout the new millennium, starring in films like Scooby-Doo and lending his voice to Lieutenant James Vega in the Mass Effect video game series. Dude was the most obnoxious character in that game. I wanted to vent him out a goddamn airlock.
Like the stormtroopers? Sometimes you just got to do it.
Sometimes. He also made numerous television appearances on shows like Boston Legal, Bones, yada, yada, yada. He's bad. Oh, that's right. He tried playing his younger version of his character. Apparently, he's also involved in creative side of professional wrestling business, the connections to both WWE and AEW. But yeah, Freddie Prinze is not making a lot of friends in the business.
Shocking.
But yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. That
did he play Kane or Ezra in?
He was Kanan.
Yeah, that character.
So yeah, here's the tweet. Oops. Yeah, on set, and I watched Gareth direct also. He continued, I was there about to shoot that scene, and I thought, you know what? Screw it. And I just wrote an email saying, Peter, about to film Darth Vader. If you want to come, it's happening now. And he's like, I'll be there in half an hour. And then he perfectly timed it. He walked in literally for that shot where it goes from darkness to the lightsaber turning on. Whatever I do in my career, whatever happens next is going to be hard to top the honor of getting to direct that scene. So yeah, that was part of what. And Gary Wood is saying, I still remember vividly Gareth excitedly showing me the first cut of this. No music or VFX, wires still visible, but even in that nascent form, it was clear that it was going to straight up murder audiences. As I recall, Peter Jackson was on set that day, also losing his shit. So yeah.
So he's saying that Filoni directed it when he did it, or he did that scene when he did it.
Yeah, that's what old Freddie Prinze there was saying, was that it was actually his boy Dave Filoni, Mr. Kmart Cowboy himself.
Bruh.
Right?
I just get.
I know. Giving unnecessary. I mean, hey, I gotta give it to Gary Whitta though. At least he fired back and was like,
right.
No, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
He called it out. Good for him.
I was
A
hoping
lot
that
of
George
times
Lucas'
people
daughter was going to come out and be like, "No, you didn't."
like somebody somebody needs a bit. It's like needs to just haul up and smack Freddie Prinze in the mouth. Because he's fired off so many different times and giving Filoni way too much credit.
Yeah.
So this ain't the
Well,
first.
when the dude is,
Keeping you in work, yeah. And you got an inside to Star Wars, I guess. So I guess I can't knock that aspect of it. So do we there's more if you want.
Let's do one more.
Okay. You know what?
Or no, or wait.
So I'll just to rub it in people's faces just a little bit. Yeah, I'll go with this one. So yeah, Jon Favreau confirms The Mandalorian will match up to Disney's sequel trilogy. Also claims viewers influence continuity decisions. This is we'll get into it. So yeah, Jon Favreau, head writer and executive producer of The Mandalorian, recently claimed that the Mandalorian will indeed lead into Disney's Star Wars sequel trilogy. In recent interview with YouTube channel Movie TV promoting the new season of The Mandalorian, Favreau was asked, "You spoke about needing to have a team to keep track of all this continuity that you got going. Is it a challenge also as a storyteller, knowing where this universe's galaxy of Star Wars is like 20, 25 years down the road in terms of the sequel trilogy and having to match up with that?" Favreau answered, "Yeah, it's a little closer than that now. We've been on the air a little bit. It's interesting because, what's come before, and then in our time period, there's also been extended universe fiction." Favreau continued, "There's characters that have been slowly introduced in Star Wars Rebels, like Thrawn. That's not Thrawn. So there's a lot of stuff that's in canon, like canon proper, but I think there's different tiers of things." Next, he indicated that they look at what's canon based on audience reaction. We really look to the fans to see what they embrace too. It's not like it's science. There's definitely a conversation that's going on. How about this? How about you just make your story, not worry about what the current audience is really gravitating towards? Because here's again the as the meme goes, the Virgin Disney Star Wars versus the Chad Lucas who made the stories he wanted to make and didn't give a damn what other people were thinking about it because he was just focused on making it the way he wanted it to be. So it's again allowing out. I don't know why they would allow outside sources. I understand listening to the fans for maybe certain stuff, but after the fact, maybe, but not while things are still going on.
Yeah.
So continuing on, Favreau continued to explain how he looks at Star Wars continuity. So I think that there are certain markers that we have. It's almost like studying ancient history where you kind of know a few things that happen, but there's a lot of murkiness in between, and we just don't have archaeological evidence in the real world to know exactly what happened. So we kind of connect the dots. Huh?
What did you just say?
I don't know. Yeah, other than I can only just say that this fully explains their continuity of being, inconsistent. If you look at someone like George R.R. Martin and his novels, it's really interesting to see how he treats these things because he really does treat it like history. And that could just be a mindset thing. You just don't have the mindset to actually try and catalog your storyline, your continuity, your world building in a way to keep track of it. He possibly has. I don't know what George Martin does. But I mean, even to the same degree, I mean, Jesus, Tolkien, you go through it, the Lord of the Rings, and that man was detailed as all holy hell, and he had a bunch of extra writings and stuff to help flesh out his world even further than that. And it's like what I heard Eric July for his book Isom, and creating that, he basically had what he was calling his Universalist Bible, where he kind of had all the rules and power structure and stuff like that written down, and in that, so that he had something as a reference guide for his universe. And that's kind of even sparked my brain of the thought of what if I were to want to finally write something, what would I do? Oh, that's the perfect thing. Have your basic guide to always refer to and stuff like that. And the Favreau apparently does not have that in mind. Sometimes you have stories told from different perspectives. Sometimes you have flawed storytellers. You are one of them. Sometimes you have different versions. And of course, you have different media. The books and the shows and that interplay and that level of sophistication. And I think also having somebody like one author of it really adds to the complexity that you can have. But you also need somebody in control, like actually in control, to veto, to approve of, and that's what George was. He he got any and all notes that were going on for the books, for the extra content that was being made, and he vetoed. He allowed certain things. He made his own notes of maybe try this instead or do this instead. Gave feedback as well. And there's apparently none of that going on because they have just nothing that's being stuck together for continuity. He concluded, so how do we emulate that with the teams that we have both at Lucasfilm ILM and on the team of our shows? How do we all work together and try to formulate that kind of consistency? The fact they are looking past the sequel trilogy could indicate that Grogu and Din Djarin's story will continue past the events of the sequel trilogy, and thus they would be dealing with a galaxy once again, finding itself in the middle of chaos with the New Republic's core planets wiped out by the First Order. The First Order's quick rise to dominance throughout the galaxy and usurpation of the First Order by Darth Sidious, and then Sidious's death and destruction of members of the Resistance. It's possible the Mandalorians could fill the power vacuum left by the destruction of the New Republic, the First Order, and Darth Sidious's Sith forces. Good God, I forgot how retarded all that was. Oh, my brain hurts a little bit. But the thing is, too, we've unfortunately, Carrie Fisher's passed away, so you can't exactly have her come back and reprise her role to as Leia to also help fill this gap. But hey, at this point they don't really need that, right? They just need some voice lines, AI, and away you go.
But even their
the AI voices
are bad.
So as for Favreau's comparisons of Star Wars canon to ancient history, it doesn't really hold water, given there are clear documents, namely George Lucas's original trilogy and prequel trilogy, that Star Wars canon has as its foundations. Disney also made clear they were sidelining the expanded universe in favor of their own continuity that included Lucas's films and the Clone Wars animated series. And they're doing everything they can to rewrite the history of it too. Just externally. So I might end up being wrong that they ever try and do a reboot, but I still think it's going to be somewhere down the line. A blog post from 2014 on StarWars.com detailed, while Lucasfilm always strived to keep the stories created for the EU consistent with our film and television content, as well as internally consistent, Lucas always made it clear that he was not beholden to the EU. He set the films he created as the canon, that this includes the 6 Star Wars episodes, and the many hours content he developed, produced Star Wars Clone Wars, that was mainly Dave Filoni. George put him in charge of it, but otherwise he was pretty hands off and would only just mainly like check in on what was going on while he was trying to work on other passion projects. But we all see what the big mistake was there.
No passion.
Especially Filoni. He just wanted in. These stories are the immovable objects of Star Wars history and the characters and events to which all the tales must align. As for Favreau's comments about Star Wars stories having different perspectives, flawed storytellers, or different versions, it doesn't really make sense given the films are considered canon by moviegoers and, as noted above, by Lucas 2014, albeit given Favreau's comments, it appears they don't actually hold that opinion anymore. Yeah, we've been seeing a lot of that. But, I mean, this is basically just continuing into just more overview. And, I mean, hey, what can I say? I wish I had the clip of Razor Fist spinning in a chair saying "fuck you, I was right," because I've said this for the longest time. Even before we started doing this, I remember having conversations with people at work, and I was saying there was going to be no way in hell they were ever going to decanonize their sequel trilogy. It's staying. You're stuck with it. And all they have done is reinforce that as they continue to push it to the forefront, keep it as the focus. That was what they did at Galaxy's Edge, what they've done with their stupid Galaxy Tour hotel. It's all been sequel trilogy. Barely any of the original trilogy or prequel trilogy stuff. They're only trying to use those eras to help promote those things. But otherwise, they've had the sequel trilogy, Mandalorian, and stuff like that at the forefront of everything that goes on.
Yeah.
And the man himself confirmed it. You aren't escaping the sequel trilogy. All roads lead to the sequel trilogy. It feels nice sometimes when you know you're right. Just to be a little smug. Do you have anything to
just no, they'll never they're never gonna decanon. They're never gonna retcon. They're never gonna say that they were wrong with the sequels. They're never going to
decanonize it.
No.
Nope.
And yeah,
it's sad, but that's what we're stuck with. Let's see. Brandon here. Christopher Lloyd as Jorah Sabaoth could be the main villain. Maybe he'll steal Grogu's midichlorians from the Empire and make an army of Grogus. Do you think Christopher Lloyd could show up as Jorah Sabaoth in Mando Season 3? Oh, God. I mean... Oh, that's right. I remember... That's right. We went over some articles before about Christopher Lloyd being in something for Star Wars, but I didn't know if it was Mandalorian or what. Oh, I mean, he possibly make a good Sabaoth. I mean, he's got the wild eyes and everything like that. He could certainly
Steve Buscemi or the.
Oh yeah, this is Buscemi.
Yeah. I don't know. Probably Christopher Lloyd would be better.
I don't know.
I
guess I did ask who's gonna be our overarching villain for this season, but I mean, clearly, what some of the Spurgs are saying is Mando discovering his Mandalorian roots or whatever, but there's got to be something bigger going on too. So at least I'd imagine. So that's. I wonder if we will get hintings to that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they will have actual Sabaoth to be in it and not just Ezra.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still leaning towards the idea that they're gonna.
With what? What do you think?
They're gonna change all that, and it's gonna be.
Not if they want to do
Ezra.
Heir to the Empire.
Well, I mean, like it is. They're already gonna be changing a lot of it because it's gonna be Ahsoka basically in like the Luke Skywalker role. I'm guessing.
Oh God.
That'll be for the Ahsoka series. I don't know. That's an interesting question, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, it'd be certainly quite the role to give him. That's for sure. Wouldn't be necessarily against it, but I just wish it was under better. I just mean like I wish it had been under better circumstances. Under a better crew.
Yeah.
That could actually be some good casting.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, dear, look at that. 3 hours, dude. We haven't hit a 3 hours since.
Yeah, since we had Tuscan Bob and we had Raging Rhino on here.
Yeah. Okay, well,
Oh, wait, we've had some 3 hours before that, too, but
Daviasa.
Otherwise, yeah. Yeah. Oh, Daviasa. I saw him the other day too, and I meant to give him some shit, but I didn't get the chance to.
It's probably making 3D lightsabers again.
Maybe. Let's see. The closest person we have to Cyboth in canon is Terran Malikos from Fallen Order, except his got corrupted by Darkseid after Order 66. Huh. It's been a while since I played Fallen Order.
Oh, yeah. Isn't it the guy that was on Dathomir?
Okay, yeah, I think I remember that.
He's the guy that was on,
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, Dathomir, and he fought him, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Like I said, again, it's been a while since I've also played that game.
New game come out next month, I think.
Oh, that's right.
So pumped for us to play it and review it. And by playing garbage and not buy it.
Exactly. Well, shall we call it there, my friend?
Let's call it.
All right. Do we want to shenanigans? No shenanigans, or should we just wait and see?
Wait and see. I have a shindig tomorrow.
Okay. Cool. We'll figure it out.
All right. Everybody, thanks for joining.
Absolutely. We'll have this, and thank you for anybody that's watching on the replay. We appreciate it. Otherwise, just catch us on those other platforms. If we happen to do any Twitch streaming, I'm trying to get back into it again. I kind of fell off for about a week or so. I'll try and motivate my ass to get back to some of the games that I've played, and hopefully we'll finish soon.
Harry Potter. He's gonna do Harry Potter.
I'd have to actually buy it. I don't know if I want to.
Right.
It's not a bad game. I just want to have to actually pay for it. Anywho,
so really quick. So, are you excited for Eclipse?
Are you excited for the game Eclipse, despite not much trailers?
We talked about this like
when the first trailers dropped.
When they were like, it's supposed to it'll debut at the end of the century or something, or the decade.
I think there's some jokes flying around. Yeah,
I thought they squashed it. I didn't think they were going to.
A lot of stuff's been delayed. Yeah, a lot of stuff's been delayed. So it's a wait and see. I'm trying to remember which one Eclipse was.
Eclipse was the one that was like.
Oh,
RPG.
Yeah, this one. Okay. Was this the one being done by David Cage, or is that a different one? Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just didn't. Last I knew there wasn't anything like a release date.
When we reviewed that, nothing.
Last I knew there wasn't a release date or anything like that for it. It's been kind of quiet on the news front for it. So, Quantic Dream. Okay, it was being David Cage's company. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, I don't know. I can't say it. With most games nowadays, I can't say I'm ever too super excited. So I just kind of play the wait and see game, and if it hits the high seas, I'll check it out. If it's good, cool. If it's not, well, then I at least didn't waste my money.
Right.
But yeah, so we'll see. We'll wait and see. That's all I can say. All right. Well, folks, good night. Thanks again. Catch you all next week. Bye-bye.
What is thy bidding, my master?
Yeah, I should have known from the very beginning. From what you said. Yeah, when the mega powers were formed. Yeah, what you were out for from the very beginning. Yeah, you were after what was mine. I remember what you said.
You can destroy the Emperor. Join me. Together, we can rule the galaxy as father and son.
Yeah, that one was rough. Those words right there. Yeah, I got stuck, yeah, but I swallowed it anyway. Didn't like the taste, but I swallowed it anyway, yeah. But I remember the time when there was a conquistador out of the ring. The one that's so jealous that he can't stand it, yeah. Yeah, you came in there with your poses, yeah, but you made a big idiot out of yourself, yeah. And speaking of idiot things, what about that stupid idea? Did you forget that one? Think back. That right there sealed your fate. Yeah, that put the madness over the edge. But I'll tell you what felt even better, yeah, was in the dressing room, in the first aid room. Me being unselfish, yeah, said go ahead, do the thing, yeah. You won't steal my thunder, no. When you take a look at the madness's eyes, all you're gonna see is complete and utter rage.